As we get towards the third waypoint of the season, becomes a question of where does one stand when it comes to those tough sorts of times. We're getting very close to July, and for the Elmira Pioneers, that's the question that they have in mind. What lineup do they end up start running when you get towards that 7th month of the year and the final month here at historic Dunfield? It's the Elmira Pioneers, and it's the Auburn Doubledays here in Elmira, New York. Taking you through the action here today, I'm Anthony Labonte alongside a special guest for this one, Ryan Labonte, to take things through as the first pitch comes on through. And let's take a look at the standings here in the West Division. Batavia, they currently sit at 13-5. They broke a 3-game losing streak. They're up top. Auburn is sitting at 12-5 right now. Our graphics person just messed up the logos there, so they got to figure that one out later on. But Auburn, they're 1 game behind Batavia. They want to cut that gap. But Jamestown, they're 12-6. They dropped one the other day. Elmira 9-7, and then it's Niagara at 9-9, followed by Niagara Falls at 8-9, Olean at 7-10. Geneva got their 5th win over the Pioneers yesterday, and then Newark, they're 1-14 on the year. But the big story for the Pioneers for this one is going to be how do they attack these Auburn bats, Ryan? And it's something where entering into this one, you got a man on the mound in Lucas Hale, who has gone through 3 starts, however, has not recorded a win. What does he have to look at with a 17.1 ERA?
I mean, you have to look at your defenders. Yeah, you may want to get those strikeouts, but then again, you may be putting them in very quick pace for the Auburn Doubledays to take control of it, and especially trying to get those corners. That could lead to a ball, and if you keep this up, then it might be another ERA day that skyrockets.
Well, for Hale, the man out of the University of Kentucky, he has a strong defense around him. Michael Gardner at the shortstop, he's currently leading the team in errors, but however, when you ask for those tough plays, Gardner is the one to do so. The bounces of Dunfield are not what you're generally going to see when they played at Auburn, that Lucas Hale had to face with. Auburn, they have turf field, they get those perfect bounces. Here at Dunfield, the dirt, that is going to change up the entire dynamic of this one. What does that kind of look like if you are a defender now with those kind of, you have to worry about those high hops?
You got to get in front of it first. You can't be waiting for the hop just to go into your chest. You got to put yourself out there. And I mean, you probably grew up with the dirt, so you can't change something around just because it may have not been working in turf that you had in college and such. But, I mean, they need to play. This is Dunfield, of course. This is their home. You got to show up and make something happen.
And Lucas Hale is going to look to do that as he goes up against Chase Massey, the shortstop for the day for the Auburn Doubledays. The first pitch comes in there, and it will go too high for ball number 1. The .292 hitter on the season enters into this one. He played in that last game against Elmira, the 24-14 game that ended up being the largest scoring game in the PGCBL. That second pitch is down low and outside, ball 2. And right now it seems, as you mentioned, Hale is trying to work those corners, but it's not going in his favor. It's something that you see a lot of these pitchers on Elmira try to do. As Hale takes a step back, he throws, and that one's hit on the ground foul for his first strike of the at-bat.
You saw the first pitch. It was too far in, almost hit the batter, but now he's getting a little bit loose, getting closer there. A big hit on the ball, but unfortunately for Auburn, it was foul. We'll see what he can do now.
Chase Massey stands in the box. Brandon Dubeck gets set behind. The throw from Hale, that one's upstairs. It's ball 3. So 3-1 count, what are you thinking as a batter?
For 3-1 count, you usually think, hey, they're probably going to get it closer to the middle of the zone just so they can work a full count and change something up. However, who knows with how this is going.
The 3-1, that one's inside. It's going to be ball number 4. So moving on over to first goes Chase Massey, the first base runner of the day for the Auburn Doubledays, and right behind him comes the second baseman and Titus Hutchins. 316 so far on the season, and having a man on early, that's always going to be a struggle for the pitcher.
For right now, it feels like he doesn't have the right grip on the ball, is losing it too early, and that's causing it to be closer to that left box of the batters.
So man on first right now, that's Chase Massey, as Lucas Hale currently occupies the mound. His last time he faced off, once again, that 24-14 loss by the Pioneers. That pitch goes upstairs for ball number 1. So far in this at-bat, it's been, through this appearance so far, he's thrown 6 pitches. The only strike that he's gotten was a swinging one that went foul.
That's not what you want here, as here comes another pitch.
That one goes right down Main Street for the first strike called there in this at-bat. And for Tyson Hutchins, as I mentioned, a .316 batter on the season. He's got a duck on the pond. He's looking to bring it on home, and it's going to be interesting to see how that sort of changes up as this game continues along. Hale's delivery. There's a running man over there in Massey, but the ball is fouled away, so he'll have to head back over to first. And for base runners, how does that feel when you're on your way? You think you got the steal coming in, but all of a sudden a foul ball and you're getting sent back over.
It's just a little bit of a time where you need to just regroup, think about what's going to happen, and especially with a batter like him, it might change in a second.
So Hutchins here with the 1-2. That one is a little too low. 2-2. Our sound operator thought that it was strike 3. He gave the Red Sox woot in there, but it was just a touch low. From this vantage point here, I can see how you'd get that one mistaken, but it's going to remain a 2-2. Hale's delivery. That one outside. Does he get it? No, he does not. Dubek's framing is not enough there. So it's a full count coming in here, and this is where you kind of expect the man on first and Chase Massey to start running on this. Hale gets set. He kicks. He deals. That one's hit high into the air. It heads towards center field. Brett Baker tries to run underneath that one. He'll make the snag, and he'll get the out. And let's take a peek around the horn for the Elmira Pioneers. At third base today, it's going to be Alex Davis. Then it's Michael Gardner at short. Tyler Adamo at second. Ryan Kristoff occupies first. In the outfield from left to right, it's Jack Tubman, Brett Baker, and Caleb Delaney. Doing the catching today for Hale is going to be Brandon Dubak. And Dubak is... It's always interesting to see who they throw in as a catcher, because Dubak's normally the number 1 guy, but you see Jones, you see Reed. It's all about matchups, as the first pitch there is swinging for strike 1 on the 1 out.
When you have multiple catchers at your disposal, that also means that the different pitchers have their own favorites. And maybe he wants to have a different catcher than the other one. And you got to just focus in, see what works best, and how to stop the other team from getting on the board.
So the pickoff attempt over towards Kristoff is no good. It's still 1 strike here for Teddy Monahan. The throw over, a steal attempt comes in there. Does he get the tag? He does so. Tyler Adamo cuts it off, and they catch Chase Massey stealing. So now it's 2 outs through 2 batters faced, as up to bat is, with the 1 strike, is Teddy Monahan. And Teddy Monahan, his last time he faced the Pioneers, he was knocking one over right field there in Auburn. So 2 home runs on the season. He was week 1 player of the week. Continue to mention that, University of Rochester. 0-1 count coming as Monahan does not have anyone on. He check swing fouls that one. Running over there is Kristoff towards bullpen area, but it'll go too far. It's over the fence.
Seems like we're in a groove now where hit after hit, but it's going foul. That gives a lot of bit of confidence to the pitcher. You just need 3 strikes. You got 1 more, and maybe he swings at something that's not even close.
So here comes Teddy Monahan, batting .425 on the season. Auburn, one of the best batting teams in the PGCBL. Pioneers trying to get out number 3 on batter number 3. Hale, he kicks, he deals. That one will be just a bit outside. It's a 1-2 count now coming for Monahan, and that was a very good frame job from Dubak, just not enough there to get the punch out.
I can't believe the audio guy didn't think that was a strike right there.
It was very close, but let's see here. The 1-2, that one outside. 2-2 now incoming. As the Pioneers try to get 3 outs on the Auburn Doubledays before 1 run scores. There was a man on first. He got caught stealing. That was the 2nd out. A fly out by Titus Hutchins. The pitch. That one's hit right up the middle, and Monahan's going to have the first hit of the day for the Auburn Doubledays. It's a single that goes into the outfield, and that will get him on. So now he gets on base, and the Doubledays have what they always do so greatly. If they are able to get a string of hits together, that's where things start messing around. It allows them to move along, and that's what happened in that 24-14 game. The Pioneers were only down by 1 run. It was 14-13. Then all of a sudden, the bats just came alive. As it's a righty-lefty matchup coming here, Chase Moore now steps up. He's a third baseman. He's batting .304. That pitch, outside corner for a strike, and so he gets his first pitch on the corner going his way is Lucas Hale.
I will say Hale did have a good attempt on the last batter. He has a high batting average, so he tries to steal right there, or pick him off, nothing going.
So Monahan gets back to first. Only action that have been the outs of the hits have come in the center by second base or by Adamo or by Baker, as that one's hit high into the air, and it's going to go center again. It's on the infield. Backing up for that one is Gardner. He makes the grab in the outfield track, and that will do it for the top of the first inning. The Pioneers hold them off, but Auburn gets ahead. It's 0-0 as we enter the bottom half of the first here on the Pioneers Broadcasting Network. Here for the bottom half of the first inning at Dunn Field, the historic Dunn Field, and the Pioneers look to try and get something on the board. Tyler Adamo steps up to the plate here. He returns back into the leadoff spot. Caleb Delaney took his slot out in Geneva in the 10-2 loss there. Pioneers look to try and continue what they do so far, as the pitcher for the opposing side in Auburn takes the first pitch. That one will go inside. It'll go for ball 1. That pitcher for them is Will Saylor. And so Saylor steps into this one. He got the win against the Pioneers earlier. Excuse me. He got through the first time earlier as he's thrown 2 balls here. And it's always interesting when you see how they move a guy who's in a leadoff spot down the lineup and then have to bounce him back up.
Usually you do based on speed, but unfortunately not for them. If you're down in the hitting, you can't, in a little slump, it might be better for you to move down a bit.
Well, they did try to experiment up there. It's a 3-0 count. The pitch, that one is right down Broadway for strike number 1. And it was hearing from Coach Drum about the idea. It was Delaney's bat was so hot at that point. Entering that game, he was about 8 for his last 9, as that one is swung on a miss there for strike 2. So they said, rather than having him in the 10 hole where he is today, why not move him to the 1 and see how that changes? And they moved Adamo down to the 5. It ended up not working as great as they had hoped for, but we'll see. The 3-2, that one inside ball 4, and on to first base goes Tyler Adamo. So first man gets on for the Pioneers the same way that the first man got on for Auburn. It's by a walk.
The thing about having the good batter in the 10 hole, though, is that the pitcher's going to be a little gassed by the point that Caleb Delaney would come up. However, I feel like there is a bit of a working around there just to have a man on base before you have your big hitters up. Unfortunately, it did not work in Geneva.
Brett Baker now steps up to the plate here for the Pioneers. That one goes upstairs for ball number 1. Brett Baker, he's been doing such a great job this season for the Pio squad. He's currently entering in on a 12-game on-base streak. So the man wearing number 10 looks to try and continue that. Will Saylor on the mound right now. The throw, that one is down in there for a strike. And so Tyler Adamo occupies first base. And Adamo so far this season, he's a guy who oftentimes in his first at-bat may not always get on. But once he gets on, he's just a lethal weapon on that base path running around. The throw back over, it's not going to be in time. Braden Michelson, the first baseman. The first baseman, taken on through. It's a 1-1 count as Will Saylor continues here. Pioneers trying to bounce back after giving up 1 hit in the first. They didn't let up a run, though. That pitch is high. So Baker's now looking at a 2-1. And it really is something where when you're the batter and you see that all of a sudden the top of the first, your pitcher lets up a hit, you kind of adjust your ways, don't you?
Yeah, and I mean, it feels like with both of these pitchers right now, they're not throwing as many strikes because they're a bit nervous about what happened the last time we saw Auburn versus Elmira, where it felt like we were having run after run after run happening. But they need to get it together because that's how you get a game going.
The last pitch, the 2-1 was outside. The 3-1, it's swinging by Brett Baker. He cuts on that one into 3-2. So he got the green light there. He did not end up getting it through. So now it's a full count, no outs, with Tyler Adamo occupying first base. Pioneers trying to strike early here in Elmira, New York, into this one. As getting set there is Saylor. He cheeks off one and he throws. That pitch outside, ball 4. 2 men walked already. And for a pitcher, how does that change your confidence?
You are starting to see the middle now. Although it may seem a little rough to think, hey, I'm going to just lob it down the middle where they can hit it. You got to get some strikes. You got to get something on the board because technically an inning can never end. And if this Elmira team keeps hitting and hitting and hitting or keeps walking and walking and walking, game will never end.
Jack Tubman gets up, and note for that one with Baker, his 13th game in a row where he has gotten on base, and this one starts with a walk. Man on second, man on first. The first pitch, that one's about as middle as you're probably going to see for strike number 1. And so Saylor, and that's what you were saying, working that middle is going to be what they end up doing. He tries to get in here. An 0-1 count for Jack Tubman. Tubman gets ready to go. The look back, the throw, and that one is outside for a ball.
Because, you know, it might be very satisfying if you get the corner, especially up towards the batter where he's just going to jam it if he even gets contact of it. But you still need the strikes, and that is a very risky spot to pick.
1-1, the pitch. That one is hit high and foul. And I was about to mention, Jack Tubman did not play in that game against Geneva. The last time he was here at Dunn Field, you see the signs over there in left field, the CAF USA, the U.S. Army, the U.S. Navy, the Skyworks. The ball went over that one. So Jack Tubman does have the power, and that's what Saylor's going to have to worry about. It was back-to-back homers against Geneva here on Tuesday. 1-2. The step and the pitch. That one is up high. The throw back over towards first. It's not going to be in time. Brett Baker gets back. It almost threw him off on the throw back down, but no stop there. It remains a 2-2 count with no outs. Adamo on second and Baker on first. This is the bottom of the first inning here at historic Dunn Field between these two sides. The pitch. That one's hit on the ground by Tubman. It heads over towards short. Grabbing that one and making the throw is Massey over to third base for the first force out. So Tubman will get on a
looks like
fielder's
he's
choice.
a bit injured.
As there is going to be a second stoppage there as the man is down out there. The trainers run on. Massey just ran out there to try and get it, and Massey is currently down, and he's trying to walk under his own power. The trainers come over, and that's not what you'd like to see here to start this game off.
He had to go full speed for that ball just to bring it to third base. I can understand maybe an extension could be possible on his legs.
Don't want to speculate on what the injury is. He's getting some flexion on it. He's trying to walk as the trainer continues to look. Let's pause for a second and just talk about who is in this infield today for them. Chase Moore was the one who caught that out at third. First base is Braden Michelson. I said that already. Titus Hutchinson is at second. And now it seems as though going to be all set is Chase Massey. He's the shortstop. So great to see that there from the Auburn player. He's ready to go. And then in the outfield today, it's Brennan Smith alongside Teddy Monahan in center. And then it's Bert Maxim in right. Doing the catching is Jake Bentavenga. So now up to bat comes Jalen Tidwell. I mentioned that Tubman hit a home run his last time here at Dunn Field. Jalen Tidwell did the exact same thing. He enters into today as the extra hitter. Once again, if you're not familiar with the PGCBL, 10 batters go in the lineup with an extra hitter being able to be used, as that first pitch goes in there for a strike. So Tidwell represents that extra hitter. He also, his home run went over left field, so 2 pull side home runs by righty batters. As there's 1 strike and 1 out here, Will Saylor remains on the mound. The pitch. That one runs inside. It's going to go for a ball. So Tidwell enters into this one. Like I mentioned before, he had those big plays. He entered in that game the other day as one of those guys. He entered yesterday with a .333 and 3 triples. That leads the PGCBL. Looking to try and do that again, maybe clear the bases. The 1-1, the pitch. That one is upstairs. 2-1.
Looks like it was going to be a close strike right there. I feel as though they're getting into a bit of a rhythm here now in the pitching. Once you get that first out, however, 2 men on base is not great.
Tubman on second. Over on first base there is Jack Tubman. He got on the fielder's choice that threw Adamo out, who had a walk earlier. It's a 3-1 count coming here for Jalen Tidwell. Pioneers do not have a hit on the day, but they have 2 men on. The pitch. That one is low. Ball 4. Jalen Tidwell will get on base, and its base is loaded now for the next batter, and Alex Davis. And if there's a man who you need to get ahead, Alex Davis surely is one of them. And he steps up here. Have to see how these sides change. Alex Davis actually changed his walk-up before today, so no more return of the MAC. Very good walk-up from him, but he enters into this one. He did play in that game against Geneva here at home. In that game, he ended up getting 2 singles to his name as the first pitch goes in there for a strike. And that's, you don't even need a single in this situation. You just need 1 in the outfield.
Yeah, I mean, the toughest part about it being bases loaded is that it's a force out at every plate. And that can be tough, especially if you're a ground ball type of guy. Luckily stays off there for first ball. But, I mean, he can get into the outfield. So I think we're all set there. Or Elmira should be all set there, depending on how he goes.
The 1-1 fouled away. It's 1-2 now coming here for the batter there in Alex Davis. He's batting .313 on the season. But what's impressive is his on-base percentage. He's .463. So almost half the time that he goes up to plate, he gets on. He looks to do so here with a 1-2 count, 1 out, and bases completely loaded. Saylor steps the pitch. That one is going to be inside. Davis steps away to recuperate and get back into the box. I think he was potentially expecting there to be a strike 3 call on the corner. It did not happen there. That's what's been the difficulty for the Pioneers. Those strike 3s on the corners. As here comes the 2-2. Saylor kicks and deals. That one is upstairs. Full count now coming in, and as a batter, this has to be a nerve-wracking situation.
3-2 with 3 batters on. You either strike out, bring a run home, or somehow end the inning.
The pitch. That one's hit on the ground. It heads over towards third base. Chase Moore steps on third. He throws on over to first for the double play. Is it in time? No, it is not. Davis gets on. He steps on the foot of the first baseman and falls over. They rule him safe. Hope that he's okay over there at first, but the Pioneers now have their first run on the board. Here, it's 1-0 at historic Dunn Field. Scoring on that one was Brett Baker. Jack Tubman gets out at third base by Chase Moore's foot on the bag. It's now a man on second, man on first. Davis seems to be okay. He was helped up there by Nasty Nate at first. So it's 1-0 Pio's lead against the Doubledays, but still no hits on the day for the Pioneers.
I mean, this is not something you're looking at for Auburn Doubledays. You want to get the hits for the runs instead of the walks, because that means you're just giving up these runs, these plate appearances, these on-base percentages. And right now, with 1 ball, might happen again.
Jack Aylward now steps up. He's the designated hitter. He swings on that one. It's going to go for a strike. Jack Aylward, he's got a lot of power in that bat. The last game that we saw him, that was the game against Geneva. And what did he do? The 2 runs that were scored for the Pioneers in that game, in the 10-2 game, bat of Jack Aylward. He's sent one over left field. So 4 home runs this season by the Pioneers, all of which have been against Geneva. Looking to change that right now is Jack Aylward. The pitch, that one is in there for a strike. The breaking ball there catches him. And I'm not saying that should be concerned that they've only gotten those home runs against Geneva. It's just something that you have to look at and say, what is Geneva doing that you're picking up on, and how could you transition that into the other teams? As that one's hit high into the air, it heads towards left field. Going to go underneath that one to make the grab is Brennan Smith, and that will be the 3rd out. So the Pioneers score 1. They don't get a hit, but it's a 1-0 lead over the Auburn Doubledays here from Elmira, New York. We'll be back here on the Pioneers Broadcasting Network and in historic Dunn Field. The Elmira Pioneers are sponsored by AIM Independent Living, AJ's Outdoor Power Equipment, Ann's Pancakes, Centralis Health, Blaze Brockway, Bully Hill Vineyards, CAF USA, Casa Trinity Prevention, Chemung Canal Trust Company, Chemung Supply, Coca-Cola, Council Rock Wealth Advisory Group, Dandy Mini Marts, Elm Chevrolet, Elmira Heat Treating, Chemung County Family Fitness Center, Finger Lakes Federal Credit Union, FM Howell, Glove House, Guthrie, Hilliard Corporation, Honeybee Made, Jubilee Foods, Kahuna's, Kennedy Valve, M&T Bank, Martha Lloyd Community Services, McDonald's, Papa John's, Pathways, Pinecroft, Rodney J. Strange, ServPro, Serve You Credit Union, Sheddens, Solutions Credit Union, Southern Tier Custom Fabricators, Susan Minchin Dentistry, Swan Morse Insurance, Texas Roadhouse, Tom South Corning Collision, the United States Army, the United States Navy, Vasco Brands, Wegmans, Wise Markets, Well Now Urgent Care, WETM, Wiggle 100, and Woodbrook Assisted Living. Thank you for sponsoring the Elmira Pioneers, and go Pios. Top of the second incoming here as the throw down from Dubeck goes. And up to bat next for the Auburn Doubledays is going to be Chase Moore. Or excuse me, it's actually going to be Brennan Smith, the left fielder. I have to just adjust my score sheet real quick. I always have that problem where I miss the last out because I'm so excited about the change of innings. So up to bat now comes Brennan Smith for the Auburn Doubledays, and he looks to try and get through this one for Smith entering in onto the day. Excuse me. So Smith entering in here. First pitch there goes high into left center. Going for that one and making the diving play. Does he get the catch? It would have been a Sports Center level play if he did. Did Baker get it? They rule. He did. Brett Baker dives for that one, and that was a very tough play in left center field that Baker's able to grab. So I don't even need to give my note on Smith. That's the out there. What a play.
Unbelievable work, just moving full speed to your right, making sure that you have your hand out, but not too much or not enough so that the ball either hits your forearm or doesn't even make it at all. Great play by the center fielder.
We apologize for the score bug maybe being in the way there. Let's say, as you mentioned, Ryan, he was running to his right. He made the diving play, spun over, lost his hat, and was able to make the grab. So one out comes in now as the second pitch comes in the at-bat here to Jake Bentavenga. He's the catcher for today. What a play by Brett Baker to start this day. And I was going to mention how Hale has the benefit of getting that little extra cushion from the run as that pitch goes outside. And when your fielders are doing the exact same here, that gives you even more opportunity.
Especially where he's trying to get a little bit of a bounce back against Auburn after that last performance. It does feel nice not having a lot of weight on your shoulders involving runs and keeping the team together.
So 3-1 incoming now. One out against the batter in Bentavenga. He's the catcher on the day for Auburn, and he looks to try and get this one through. The pitch. That one is hit on the ground. It heads over towards Gardner at short. He takes his steps. He throws on over to first. Trying to make the scoop there is Kristoff, and it will not be the case. It goes in the dirt and bounces past him. The ball goes out of play, so moving over to second is going to be Bentavenga. It's going to be an E6. So I mentioned before how Gardner is the most erred fielder on this team in terms of playing the shortstop, but shortstop is one of the hardest positions in terms of the other 8 besides maybe the catcher. So it's something where he's running so quickly there, it's so hard to do. I mean, I probably wouldn't be able to hit that.
Usually you get shortstops. They're kind of like pitchers, but they're, more speedy, more in the air, You're
trying to hold off from saying athletic.
Yeah, they're just trying to command everything.
That one is fouled back there by Michelson. Hey, pitchers are athletes too. You have to hold that for them, but right there, a tough play by Michael Gardner. It's a man on second now here in Bentavenga.
A pitcher's job isn't always to make sure the infield is set together and right. His job is to get strikes.
So 0-1 coming in here. The pitch, that one is low. Dubek steps up and grabs that one and throws back over in case of any chance of Bentavenga moving on over. As I mentioned, now up to bat is Braden Michelson. He's batting .278 here on the season. He has 3 extra base hits, including a triple. That one's hit on the ground. It heads over towards Gardner at short. To make up for that one, he throws on over to Kristoff and gets the out, the grab on the ground. So making up for that error, he gets the second out here on the 6-3. So now it's 2 outs coming up for Auburn as they have a man, the tying run just on third base. 90 feet away, trying to work here. Bert Maxim now steps up as he gets ready to work for his side. Auburn very much trying to get their first run on the board. They have a hit so far, trying to work, as that one's hit hard and it goes towards right center. They have their second hit on the day, and it's an RBI. Looks like it's going to be a double at that. RBI double incoming for Bert Maxim, and that puts them in a tied ball game against the Elmira Pioneers. It's 1-1, and scoring home there is Bentavenga. Just an absolute ripper on the first pitch he sees. And now it's tied at 1. What a swing.
Yeah, I mean, great hit right there in between the gaps of center and left field. What you want for a batter. And now you have to see how they respond.
Jose Taveras. He's another guy that can play catcher as that first pitch goes inside and falls in for strike number 1. It's him or Bentavenga normally that switch in between catching. But just a shot that no one in the outfield, no matter if it was Baker, Delaney, and Wright, was able to grab it. So now it's a man on second. Burt Maxim, he represents the leading run as the second pitch goes in there for a strike, and that has to feel good for Lucas Hale because now he's got an 0-2 count lead.
Pardon me, everyone, for not knowing my lefts and my rights still.
It's all right. Sometimes you got to put up the 2 fingers, see which side's an L or not. As it's an 0-2 count. The pitch, that one is low. 1-2.
Getting a lot of movement on the bases. I think that really made it a little worrisome at catcher for Dubek.
Yeah.
However, they still have the man at the plate.
And trying there, the 1-2, that one in there on the corner, strike 3. Lucas Hale has his first punch out of the day, and it's going to be a backwards one at that. So 1 run scores for Auburn there on the RBI double by Burt Maxim, and the Pioneers now have to look to answer as we head into the bottom half of the second here on the Pioneers Broadcasting Network. Throwdown comes in here, and now it's time for the Pioneers to take things forward. To bat comes Brandon Dubak to take things along here for the Pioneers. Dubak, he's the catcher for this one, and he looks to try and bring things along for the Pios. On the season for Dubak, he's batting .220 for him, so have to see how he can improve that one. The pitch, that one's hit hard. It heads over the shortstop's head. It's going to be a single on the first pitch from Brandon Dubak, the first hit of the day for the Pioneers. And we mentioned the fact that it was first pitch swinging for Burt Maxim that got him that double. All of a sudden, Dubak does the same.
Getting it over the head of the shortstop, Chase Massey, is very crucial. And now, instead of being 1-0-1 on that side box score, 1-1-1 down the line.
So man on now for the Pioneers once again, as Saylor has to worry about Ryan Kristoff, as Michael Gardner, as that one folds, and it's going to try and fall in right field. It's not going to. It's going to be the first out here of the inning. So 2 pitches, 2 swings. One goes for a hit, one goes for an out.
I don't know what the other batters were telling them in the dugout, but Saylor seemed very hittable now. 2 pitches and both of them were hit. We'll see if this can continue.
If that one from Gardner dropped just a little bit more, he probably gets a hit. He probably moves Duback over towards second, if not third base, depending on how aggressive Coach Drum wants to be. Ryan Kristoff now steps up to the plate to work this one. Pioneers with their first hit of the contest here in this inning. It was a single by Brandon Duback on the first pitch he saw. The pitch, that one is going to go for a strike, so Kristoff does not also swing first pitch. He gets that one go past him. 1-1 here against the first baseman. 0-1 here for the first baseman. Kristoff
trying to change up the rhythms of each batter right now. See how it affects the pitcher.
That one goes down low, so now Kristoff's looking at a 1-1 count. And for Kristoff on the year, he's batting .200. Does not have a extra base hit to his name. Trying to see if he can change that here. The 1-1 with Brandon Duback on first. The pitch, that one inside. 2-1. He only has a couple walks as well, so on base percentage at 27.3 for him. Trying to change that one up, and what way to do it besides being the 9-hole where you get to have all those players in front of you. Try and work that through. 2-1, the pitch, that one falls right down there. The off-speeder catches him and gets the strike.
Changing up pitches and changing up how we do things. Already double the amount of pitches from the other two at-bats.
So a 2-2 count incoming. The pitch, that one's hit off the inner part of the bat. He got kind of jammed. Is it going to drop? It will do in left field. So it may not have been the best swing, but it was a swing nonetheless that got him ahead. Ryan Kristoff improves his average on the single, and now Brandon Duback moves to second base, and Caleb Delaney now steps up. We mentioned him already today about how he was playing in that one spot, the leadoff spot against Geneva. Now he plays in the 10-hole back again. In that 10-hole, he was batting about 8 for 9, 8 for 10. Now he was not able to get a hit in his last game. He did get walked, though, so he's gotten on in every game. He shows bunt. He squares down the bunt. It goes on the foul line. It doesn't look like it's going to return over. Foul ball from Caleb Delaney. That's what he's done so well this season. He has 2 bunts that he's gotten on the infield. He's been able to beat out. So the speed there, you kind of think of it maybe have that 10 spot as a double leadoff guy.
Exactly. That 10 spot, you get to know everything about the pitcher, and then you also get to know how you can run the bases well. Maybe get the second, maybe get the leadoff spot at that point. You want to get a bit of a big swinger to get the other man around. However, don't know how it's going to work here for Caleb Delaney.
Michelson plays on the infield grass, the first baseman. The pitch. Delaney shows bunt again. He'll go for a strike. He's not able to make contact that goes forward, so it's an 0-2 count. Now, don't expect a bunt attempt.
No. I think this is at the point where you may just wait and see whatever Saley is doing.
So Saylor looks back. He steps. He deals. Delaney will have that one hit off his foot. Bentavenga's not able to grab it. He throws on it over to second to try and get Delaney. Does Delaney get his foot in there? He does so. The ball fell out of the glove there of the shortstop in Chase Massey. A correction in the second baseman of Titus Hutchins playing there. So a 1-2 count coming for Delaney, but now he moves the runners. It's a man on second and a man on third. Third base has Brandon Duback, and on second is Ryan Kristoff. So the catcher and the first baseman looking to try and bring things home as you see Coach Drum talking to his catcher. Last time Coach Drum played in a game, or was in a game, was that game against Geneva. I say was in a game because he got thrown out in that one, as that one is fouled away. It was an argument over a check swing hit by pitch that ended up sending out Landon Birch after just 20 pitches, and also in doing so sent out Coach Drum and forced Coach Barber to take his spot. Right here, he looks not to have that same circumstance happen here tonight. Hopefully his team rolls as it's a 1-2 counting coming for Delaney. That one is low again So the lefty batter holds up, and it's a 2-2 count now incoming. Both of those pitches, the two balls, have been at his feet.
I think now just knowing that there's a man on third and a man on second, man on third, it's going to be a bit of a trouble. But Delaney swings, misses for strike three.
He just got on top of that one, so that's going to be a strikeout for Saylor. As now coming up is going to be Tyler Adamo. He flips over the lineup card, and he tries to get things through. Leading run just on third base, the last stop before scoring a run. Second base occupies Ryan Kristoff, and Adamo looks to try and get things moving. He walked to start things off today, trying to keep things going along the line. First pitch coming in here. That one's inside. It's a 1-0 count now coming for the second baseman.
It's funny, in the first inning, felt like all Elmira could do is get those walks. But now, not many balls coming their way. However, we'll see if the return to the start of the lineup could bring the same fortune.
So, 1-0 count incoming. They brush off home plate. Checking the ball up there to see if it's good for him. As now Adamo will come back on. It's interesting with Adamo was the way that he was standing while he was waiting for the brush off. Remind me a little bit of like a Bugs Bunny. He had the bat on the ground. He was kind of leg on around. And that's just the thing. As they continue to talk here, the coach talks to the catcher, and it seems like the catcher had something up with the hand. Maybe some blood. The trainer comes running on for the second time today, getting his steps in for this one. As, once again, third base is currently occupied. Second base as well. Bentavenga steps off for a second here. We'll see what ends up happening with this as Saylor moves along. And so far for the Pioneers, they've been able to get 2 hits in this one. Their first run came not by way of a hit. It was a fielder's choice, allowed a man to score. Now getting able to hit off Saylor, that's going to change up a lot of the dynamic of this one.
I will say I want to applaud Coach Drum for that double steal right there because, yeah, you're so focused on Caleb Delaney that you can't even think about second base getting taken over. And now 2 runners in scoring position once play resumes.
And it's a discussion here between the coach and the home plate umpire to see about what's happening here. Bentavenga walked off following some sort of check. The athletic trainer came out. The way they're discussing, have to see if Bentavenga comes back out or if it's the possibility of a new catcher. It's a 1-0 count here for Adamo. As we continue to wait, home plate umpire is waving up. It looks as though it's going to be a new catcher coming in here for the Auburn Doubledays. It's going to be Jonathan Griggs coming up here as the new catcher. So Jonathan Griggs, the man out of Wofford College in Atlanta, and by way of Atlanta, Georgia. And as they take a second here, Griggs probably putting on the equipment, but that's a change that you see early on for the side. As continuing to talk here, and Coach Nate, a little bit off your screen right now, is talking to his next 3-man up, and that's the top 3 of the order: Adamo, Baker, and Tubman. As things continue here, and coming out now is going to be Griggs. Jonathan Griggs takes over as the catcher for the Auburn Doubledays. He comes in replacement of them. Jonathan Griggs, the catcher, here, number 23, as was singled up by the home plate umpire. As it'll be a couple pitches just to get Griggs going before we get back to this Adamo at bat. And when you have that sort of break in that bat, what do you start thinking as a batter?
I think, especially with the new catcher, things are going to be played a little bit differently now. Maybe all the stuff you've heard about from your other batsmen has just gone down the drain. Griggs may try a different approach to his game. Sailor needs to calm down. I mean, this is a tough experience right now with losing one of your catchers for the game, but play continues.
Hope that the catcher before there in Mentaving is okay. The first pitch to Griggs with Adamo at plate goes for a ball. As getting ready here. Sailor steps, deals. Adamo swings on the ground for that one. It's going to go foul, though. It's a little too short. So a 2-1 now incoming. Adamo just chased that one, swung too early, and got on top of it.
That's one of the things that kind of sucks with runners in scoring position is you get a little too trigger happy right there. Yeah, Adamo had some stick on that ball, but however, it wasn't the best, and now there's 2 strike.
2 balls, 1 strike.
1 strike on him.
2-1 count coming here for Adamo. The pitch, that one is going to go for a strike. So a 2-2 count now with 2 outs. And you mentioned how the players get a little trigger happy. In that game against Geneva, twice the bases were loaded and the Pioneers were not able to score any runs. The 2-2, the pitch. That one's hit on the ground. It's a comebacker. It's going to get past the pitcher. Massey goes down to grab that one. He throws it on over to first. Isn't in time? They say it is. A very close play there. Michelson makes the squeeze, and that will be the 3rd out. It remains 1-1. Pioneers not able to score with 2 men in scoring position here as we enter into the top of the 3rd on the Pioneers Broadcasting Network. The Elmira Pioneers are sponsored by AIM Independent Living, AJ's Outdoor Power Equipment, Ann's Pancakes, Centralis Health, Blaze Brockway, Bully Hill Vineyards, CAF USA, Casa Trinity Prevention, Chemung Canal Trust Company, Chemung Supply, Coca-Cola, Council Rock Wealth Advisory Group, Dandy Mini Marts, Elm Chevrolet, Elmira Heat Treating, Chemung County Family Fitness Center, Finger Lakes Federal Credit Union, FM Howell, Glove House, Guthrie, Hilliard Corporation, Honeybee Made, Jubilee Foods, Kahuna's, Kennedy Valve, M&T Bank, Martha Lloyd Community Services, McDonald's, Papa John's, Pathways, Pinecroft, Rodney J. Strange, Serve Pro, Serve You Credit Union, Sheddens, Solutions Credit Union, Southern Tier Custom Fabricators, Susan Minchin Dentistry, Swan Morse Insurance, Texas Roadhouse, Tom South Corning Collision, the United States Army, the United States Navy, Vasco Brands, Wegmans, Wise Markets, Well Now Urgent Care, WETM, Wiggle 100, and Woodbrook Assisted Living. Thank you for sponsoring the Elmira Pioneers, and go Pios. Top of the 3rd inning upcoming now for these 2 sides, the Pioneers and the Auburn Doubledays. Pioneers had an opportunity with 2 men on to try and score. However, it was not in their favor. It was a ground ball that got them out, and now Hale returns with a man at the plate there in Miles Fontaine. So Fontaine is going to be the designated hitter for this one, and he takes this one forward for the side. So Pioneers trying to get through this one. This is the last batter in the lineup, number 10. Pitch outside. 1-1 count now incoming for Fontaine. As they try to, the Auburn Doubledays try to get on top of the Pioneers. They have 2 hits in this contest. As that pitch is low. 2-1 now. And for Auburn, once again, how they get their way around the base path has been by hits. It's not only walks, as the 2-1, that one outside Dubek's framing is not enough. 3-1 now incoming.
It's getting further left in his own zone right there, as that's not going to help with the calls.
3-1, the pitch right down the middle. It's now a full count coming here. Lucas Hale trying to get his second punch out of the day. He got one of Tavares beforehand. The 3-2. Hale, he kicks, he deals. That one is hit off the end of the bat, and it's going to fall into right field. It's going to be a single coming in here for Miles Fontaine, and the Doubledays now have a man on already, as Chase Massey will now come up to bat with a man on already, and he has a golden opportunity to try and break this game open. He walked his first time up, and he was caught stealing when he was on the base path. As it's Hale looks down towards Dubek for the first pitch. He looks back over. Hale. He kicks. He deals. That one is a bunt attempt shown. It fouls back, though. One of the highest bunts you've probably ever seen. That one goes back. It's strike number 1.
The sun is starting to possibly be a problem for batters. Not a huge batter's eye here at Dunfield. Should be enough, though, for Massey.
And speaking of the weather, the wind right now blowing towards center field. It's not a lot of wind, but it's enough there to be noticeable. As the throwback over there, the pickoff attempt not in time. Kristoff's not able to apply the tag in time. As Fontaine moves back over to first. So 0-1 counting coming following the bunt attempt there by Massey. The step, the pitch, that one goes for another strike. So all of a sudden, Lucas Hale, he's working real strong at getting these strikes in there. And that's what the Pioneers need with a 1-1 ball game.
Strange to me that he didn't even attempt at a swing compared to that huge bunt we saw earlier.
The 0-2, the pitch. That one's hit high and towards foul territory. Running to the right. There goes Kristoff. He's trying to attack it, but it's going to be too far out of his way. His hat flew off there. Once again, barely any wind here, so it's just the speed of Kristoff that sent his hat flying. As Hale gets back on the rubber with a new baseball. Trying to get his first down here in the top half of the third. Pioneers and Doubledays tied at 1. A big game in terms of the West Division. Pioneers currently sit in 4th place. The pitch. That one's upstairs. 1-2. The Doubledays currently sit in 2nd. They're right behind the Batavia Muck Dogs, the reigning West Division champions, who are currently 13-5, but are won for the last 4 there in Batavia. Have to see how Auburn can try and jump on that. The 1-2, the pitch. That one's on the ground. It heads over towards Davis. Davis cannot glove it, though. It heads into the outfield, and it's going to be a hit. It's going to be a single coming in there for Chase Massey. So back-to-back singles put men on, and Fontaine moves over to second. A tough play there by Davis. Not able to make the squeeze. It's going to be man on first, man on second. And they call it the hot corner for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, that's if you hit it just slightly early, slightly late, it's going to get down that line. And if, especially third basemen are prone to being pitchers, so it's great for them to be there. However, they actually have to make the play first.
The first pitch comes in there. It's going against Titus Hutchins, who flew out to center field his last time. Saying that there used to be pitchers, a lot of these guys sometimes convert throughout the infield. They play second, third, short, anything like that. We saw Davis in that game earlier against Geneva. He played third, and Jalen Tidwell was actually the first baseman. Normally he plays third base as well, as that pitch does not fall in there for a strike. It's a 1-1 incoming. So,
well I remember when I was trying out for baseball in high school, we had to do running, hitting and pitching and fielding. Pitching, terrible for me, but I understand that's what they've learned to do.
So 1-1 count. So they changed the scoring on the last play. They move it to an E5 going against Alex Davis. So no longer a single that Chase Massey got on. So he's 0 for 1 on the day with a walk, but he did reach for that one. It's a 2-1 now incoming here against Titus Hutchins. As the pitch goes in, that one's not good. It's a ball. It's 3-1 now incoming. Lucas Hale trying to get his first out of the top half of the third here in this contest. Auburn was able to score in the second, held off in the first. Pioneers the opposite, as that one's hit high in the air towards left field. Backing up for that one is going to be Tubman. He moves to his left. He takes a step. He makes the grab. It's going to be a tag-up play coming in here. The throw, but no way. Fontaine moves back over towards second. He does not try to run. So it'll be a fly out there from the batter for the first out here at the top of the third.
Tubman's got too much power on his arm, and that must feel great for Hale for not having to deal with a man on the corner. However, you still need to get 2 outs.
And it's not going to be easy when you're going against Teddy Monahan. He already had a single in this contest. A single could bring home a runner in Fontaine over there at second. First base occupied by Chase Massey, the shortstop. The pitch, that one, not there for, it's going to be a ball. Very close. Does not go in favor of the Pios, though. 1-0 count coming up now. Hale gets set. He looks back in case of a pickoff attempt. Adamo moves back over it with him as that one's hit hard. It heads towards right field. Backing up for that one is Delaney. He's going to get underneath that one. He's going to take a step. It's a run by Fontaine. The tag up coming in there. The throw over to Davis is not going to be, it's going to be cut off. It's not going to be in time. So 2 outs coming now. It's men on the corners for Auburn, but what you see here as a pitcher is just you need the last out. Great grab there by Delaney for the F9. As now Chase Moore steps up. He flew out his last time up. Still looking to try and bring a run home and take the lead for Auburn.
I will say what's great for Hale is that there is a man on first, so outs at second or first and second are still up for the grabs, and it's not just a pop fly or an first.
The throw, that one is cut off there. Trying to grab that one and not being able to do so is Adamo. Good backup there by Gardner. So a steal comes in there. Stolen base by Chase Massey. He was now 1 for 2 on stolen bases today. Caught stealing earlier off of Dubek's throw. 1-0 count now incoming for the batter and Moore.
Take everything I said and throw it in the trash. Now you have out at first.
1-0 count. The pitch. That one is top corner strike. A 1-1 count as the infield plays at their regular depth. Maybe third base moving back a little bit, but not too much there by Davis. Once again, force out at first. Here, the 1-1. That one's hit hard. It heads towards left center. Running for that one is Tubman. He gets underneath it. He makes the snag for the third out. So no one scores, despite 2 in scoring position for Auburn. We step aside here on the Pioneers Broadcasting Network. It's 1-1 between the Doubledays and the Pioneers. Bottom of the third now coming up. Pioneers trying to take the lead here at historic Dunn Field. As coming up to bat will be Brett Baker. The left-handed batter, his first time up, he was another guy that walked. He made it to second base and then made it all the way. He made it to second base and then made it all the way home after Alex Davis hit one on the ground. Taylor remains on the mound for the Doubledays. It's a 1-1 game. The hit column, though, 3-2 in favor of Auburn. But, of course, it's still early on. It's the third inning. Pioneers look to try and bounce around.
It does feel like a much different game compared to their last meeting.
The pitch, that one's up high. And in that last meeting, the Pioneers came so close to coming back. They had that big comeback inning. It was a one-run game, but then all of a sudden, it was walk, walk, walk that brought runners home and became a difficulty for all the pitchers who throw in that game, whether it was Rylander, Waldridge, Syhowski. It seemed like the corner was just not getting called for them, so it became a difficult day. The 2-0 here for Baker, that one is going to be there for a strike. 2-1 now. And that's what they hope out of their starting pitchers. They get some good innings. It allows their bats to go. As that one's hit hard by Baker. It heads towards right field. Backing up for that one. And at the warning track and making the grab is Bert Maxim. A strong hit ball by Baker and nothing more that you can do there. Maxim makes the grab on the warning track.
Almost had it. Almost could break this tie. However, Dunfield just a little big.
It's 325 to both foul poles. Right field kind of curves over towards center. Is now up to bat. It's going to be Jack Tubman. And Tubman, his first time up, he was a fielder's choice. That got him on as the first pitch is going to cause a lean back there by Tubman. And it'll be a 1-0 count.
On that last at-bat, we saw Chase Massey, shortstop for the Doubledays, as that ball was off. He went down after a spectacular play, but luckily they did get a run in.
2-0 count now coming here. Sailor's pitch. That one's down the middle. So now it's 2-1 coming for the batter here in Jack Tubman. First two pitched by Sailors were balls. The third pitch a strike. 1 out. 2-1. The pitch. That one is outside. 3-1 now.
Trying to get that corner of the box, the side of the box. Just a little bit further out, however, nothing going.
3-1. The pitch. That one is swung on and missed. The count is now completely full.
Nice pitch by Sailor to keep him alive and keep this going.
Tubman swung and missed that last pitch. Full count. The payoff pitch. That one is swung by Tubman again. It's going to go past the shortstop there in Massey, and it's going to be a single for Jack Tubman. Big swing from Tubman there as he gets on, and he extends his on-base streak to 10 games. As now Jalen Tidwell will come up. He was walked earlier, as now the leading run currently sits on first. And for Tidwell, once again, he's gotten that cleanup spot right after Tubman. It seems like when Tubman does well, Tidwell does as well right after him if they both come up in the same inning. Only 1 out, bottom of the third. The pitch. That one is going off the glove there of Griggs, but it will be a strike. Good job either way to keep it in front of him and not allow Tubman to run. As they get ready here. Sailor steps and deals. The righty-righty matchup, that one's inward, ball 1.
One thing that I just noticed out of Griggs, it's very common now for all levels of baseball to not stay in the squat position, but Griggs really slams his foot to the left.
That one's fouled away there by Tidwell.
Right before the pitch is about to be dropped. It's kind of noticeable when you look at the umpire, just a dust.
You also see the umpire have his hand on the back of Greg's. There is 1-2, the pitch. Tidwell swings on it. He grounds it foul. So it remains 1-2 count incoming now for the Pioneer and Jalen Tidwell. As they hope to continue this one through. A 1-1 ball game. Both sides have 3 hits on the day. The Pioneers, though, 2 errors that they hope to bounce away from. 1-2, the pitch. That one's in the other batter's box. 2-2. Sailor trying to get out of this one. So while the hits have been on the board for these sides, I mean, you think 1 hit per inning from both pitchers. Absolutely great day in that front. 2-2, the pitch. Tidwell swings on that one. It's sky high in the air. Tracking underneath that one, and going to make the catch there is the second baseman in Titus Hutchins, and that will be the second out. 2 outs now.
It's been great for them not getting as many hits, but the walks have been a little bit of a problem. Luckily, they've gotten out of it, and that's just very tough for Coach Drum, having to deal with all those men on base and nothing coming out of it.
As now up to bat comes Alex Davis. He scored an RBI on the fielder's choice. As 1-1 ball game here in Elmira, New York. Pioneers trying to get their double-digit wins on the year. Auburn trying to move closer to first place as the first pitch is a little bit outside. It was very close, but it'll be a 1-0 count here for Alex Davis.
A little close is just giving it some leeway.
1-0, that one's fouling back.
Apologies. That looked like it was going to be right in the strike zone. Luckily, Alex Davis is safe.
A 1-1 count now. So safe from that first pitch. Fouled off the second. Over at first base right now is Jack Tubman off of his single. The pitch. That one's hit by Davis. It heads towards right center. Tracking underneath that one. And looking to try and make the catch is going to be the right fielder. He calls off Monahan, and Maxim makes the grab for the third out. We head to the top of the fourth here momentarily. Pioneers and Auburn tied at 1. As here on the Pioneers Broadcasting Network. The Elmira Pioneers are sponsored by AIM Independent Living, AJ's Outdoor Power Equipment, Ann's Pancakes, Centralis Health, Blaze Brockway, Bully Hill Vineyards, CAF USA, Casa Trinity Prevention, Chemung Canal Trust Company, Chemung Supply, Coca-Cola, Council Rock Wealth Advisory Group, Dandy Mini Marts, Elm Chevrolet, Elmira Heat Treating, Chemung County Family Fitness Center, Finger Lakes Federal Credit Union, FM Howell, Glove House, Guthrie, Hilliard Corporation, Honeybee Made, Jubilee Foods, Kahuna's, Kennedy Valve, M&T Bank, Martha Lloyd Community Services, McDonald's, Papa John's, Pathways, Pinecroft, Rodney J. Strange, Serve Pro, Serve You Credit Union, Sheddens, Solutions Credit Union, Southern Tier Custom Fabricators, Susan Minchin Dentistry, Swan Morse Insurance, Texas Roadhouse, Tom South Corning Collision, the United States Army, the United States Navy, Vasco Brands, Wegmans, Wise Markets, Well Now Urgent Care, WETM, Wiggle 100, and Woodbrook Assisted Living. Thank you for sponsoring the Elmira Pioneers, and go Pios.
Welcome back to Pioneers Broadcasting Group or Network. We're here, top of the fourth, for Auburn versus Elmira. I'm Ryan Labonte. I'm going to take over a bit of play-by-play for right now. I've got Anthony Labonte here to my left. So far, it's been dead even. 1 run each for Auburn and Elmira. 3 hits each. However, Elmira does have 2 errors on the play. We will begin with Brendan Smith. Flew out last time here. He's going to watch. And in there, down the middle for strike one.
And that's what Hale's been doing so far today after that first inning. That's gotten him so much success is the first pitch strike. And now you have to see how he attacks the plate and how Dubek kind of brings it through.
Second one is grounded over to short, to first, and got it. Gardner to Kristoff, and that is out number one.
And that's just a great play by Michael Gardner, moving to his right and being able to understand the situation. You know how hard these players can hit, but how are you going to attack the baseball? And he does so there, able to throw on over to first. He had an error earlier, now able to make up for it through 2 times where it's been a 6-3.
And now Griggs is up to the plate. He came in for catcher after Figueroa was taken off. He also hits it to short. However, Gardner's unable to get this one. It will be a single for the Doubledays, for the catcher.
And for Griggs, that's just the way that you want to start your appearance here against the Pioneers. You come in relief. You don't expect to be playing all that much today, but you come in as a .435 batter, and your ability to jump on top of the baseball is what's going to give you the success.
And now the first baseman, Michelson, is up to the plate. And that one's in the dirt. It's going to go near the backstop. That's going to be one base. Will he go for two? Griggs will not. So a pass ball puts a runner in scoring position for the Doubledays.
And I mean, that was just a hard one for Dubek to even catch up to. That one was down in the dirt. Incredibly hard to get that one, but being able to stop it, and now it's going to be a 1-ball count coming in for the batter.
Here we go. Michelson back up. They're going to restart here. Pitch. Able to catch this one, but it's going to be up for a ball.
And now in this one, the 2-0 count comes in, and you have to wonder what Michelson will do, because so far Hale's just been having struggles with the man on base. He was able to conquer it in the first 2 innings, but have to see how he does here in the third, or in the fourth.
Michelson almost getting hit right there, but it will be ball 3. Starting to get a little wobbly here for Hale. Michelson grounded out to 6-3 last time. Let's see what Hale can do. On him, down the middle for a strike.
And that one there was just a pitch that he resets with. You get the 3-0 count. You get your fastball in there. It allows you now to understand, okay, I'm able to conquer this batter. Let's see how my next 2 pitches go if I can get that strikeout.
The second baseman should not be a problem right now, and he gets off the base. So disregard me. Hale a little bit worried about Griggs.
And Adamo wasn't even set up in a position there for the pickoff. It seemed almost like he kind of stepped off just to catch a breath rather than go for the pickoff attempt. But, hey, with a 3-1, now you just have to look at how things are going to move.
Here is the pitch, and that will be ball 4. Just a bit too high. And Michelson is now on base. And here comes Maxim.
And Brent Maxim now, he's coming up, and he's not one to shy away from. Maxim, he started his conquest with a double that scored a run, the lone run of the day. And so you have to wonder how the two are going to attack him in terms of Hale and Dubek, because Dubek may say try to work more of those corners. Hale may try to say I want to work up top or down low, but have to see where these things change up. It's always the question when it comes to a pitcher-catcher meeting, especially with just 1 out in the inning.
So 1 out so far, as Anthony mentioned. Top of the 4th, man on first, man on second. 1 out, and as Maxim is in, how will Hale do? Pitches, looking for the bunt, but too high, pulls back. It'll be ball one.
So that one was away as well. That could be a factor in terms of threatening Hale. He expects something incoming. All of a sudden, a bunt attempt throws him off.
This pitch number 2. That's going to be in the opposite batter's box, again in the dirt. Something's not working right now. However, Hale needs to figure it out here as Maximum gets back. It is 2-0 or 2-0 here in the count.
Hale's always been good with runners on. Have to see how he changes things.
Down in the dirt again. 3-0 the count. No strikes. Could be bases loaded. They can't get a strike here.
And it should be noted, the bullpen right now for the Pioneers is cold.
As there's strike number 1. Just getting 1 down for Hale as Maxim gets ready again for Hale's pitch. Getting the call, looking, and fires. That one's hit up the middle, through, and does not get it. Is Gardner. 1 run will come home. Auburn takes the lead 2-1 after their 4th of the game.
That was just a well-hit ball that Gardner was not able to get on top of, and the single there now gives them the lead. It's going to be a very difficult one for them as you get up with the next guy there coming for them in Jose Taveras. He may have struck out his first time, but have to see how things adjust.
Jose Taveras watches. He all 1. Hale has a man on first and second again. Brings it back. He's going to be safe, however. Once again, he was trying to catch a Doubleday off line. We're not paying attention. However, it did not work. Getting the call from Doubleday. And here's the pitch. That one's hit up high in the air. Looks like second base going to call it. That's Adamo who gets out number 2.
So big out there by Adamo, and I want to make a correction on the stat sheet. The Griggs play was ruled as a error going against the shortstop, so it will be an unearned run going against Hale. So it's only gonna be 4 hits so far by Auburn as now Fontaine steps up.
Fontaine's gonna look, and it's gonna be strike 1 down the middle. Fontaine got a single the last time he was up, and he could, however, get another run home for Doubledays and take the lead even further away. That one's too high for ball 1. Trying once again to get that corner towards Fontaine, however, bit too much.
And Hale, the run scored, but Hale hasn't been having a bad outing in this inning.
His pitch, it is a strike and looking, he tried to get a trick play on second. However, nothing going, so Duet will keep the ball.
And now it's just a hold by Duback that allows to throw the man on second just a little bit off.
This pitch, Duback gets it, and that's going to be strike 3. A forward K to end it. However, Elmira does allow 1 for Auburn. Let's see what they have to respond in the bottom of the 4th. Welcome back for the bottom of the fourth as we start off with Edward coming up to the plate. Elmira's going to have to figure out how to respond after they let up another run, an unearned run that is, in the top of the fourth.
And I mean, you just have to mention the Pioneers so far in this contest, 3 errors, and it's very difficult to win a baseball game when you have so many errors defensively.
Watches down the middle, first strike 1.
I mean, the Pioneers are able to bounce back from it, but at some point it just catches up to you, and they have to try and see, because come July, when Coach Drum figures out his lineup, that's what's going to be important. That's how they kind of run their team, is you get everyone warming in May and June, and then July, Coach Drum puts in his guys, and he says this is who's going every single day.
It was a almost hit ball 1 and swings, but a foul for strike 2, so 1-2 count.
And Jack Aylward, he's always a guy with some power, and always a guy who could get some sort of lead onto it on the ball. So have to see how he attacks this one too.
There's pitch 1-2, and that's gonna bloop down into left field. Another hit for the Pioneers as Edward begins with a single.
And that's just a great job there by Jack Aylward, and it allows for an opportunity with Brandon Duback. And Duback, once again, I mention it all the time, but he's just someone that is a double machine. And with a man on first, maybe not the speediest guy in Aylward, it could move 2 men back into scoring position.
So Duback got a single in his first at-bat, was able to get to second during that time. We'll see what he can do now as he sees it for
As
ball. There is seems to be someone running around the field, a kid. Luckily not a streaker.
So someone runs across Dunn Field, and they run out of the stadium. What a way to pause a baseball game. That's the first one we've seen all season, as they seem to be chopping it up over there at first base between a couple of sides. The guy ran over into a section that he thought got out of the stadium. It goes over towards kind of the bullpen area, so he is basically trapped over there. He's stuck, and we're gonna see security probably run after him.
However, that pitch right there as we get back to play is off for a ball. 2-0 the count.
Timeout again, and the guy's running back out in right field. He moves over towards center, and this is where security is running after him. You see Connor get on his horse. Our groundskeeper, Connor Kenny, is getting on his horse. He's running towards center field. The man's trying to jump through. He thinks he has the hole down there in center. It's very difficult. Does he squeeze through? He is able to, and gets out of there. Connor's running back over. He stopped running, though, so he is in broad daylight there in center field. What an interaction that's happened here. Aylward started running over in case he had to go make a chase after it.
Well, everything seems hopefully to be back to normal.
As Nasty Nate throws him his helmet. I mean, once again, that's the first time we've seen one this season here, as it's a discussion between the home plate umpire and the second base umpire about what specifically, and they're talking to Coach Drum. It's probably going to wait and see if what ends up happening. They will let the pitcher get a couple pitches in because it did freeze him. So,
what a crazy turn of events here for a 2-0 count.
I mean, that's probably my first time seeing it at any baseball level, and I've gone to so many baseball games.
Like I said, gratefully he was not streaking. It will be a 2-0 count once we get back as man on first. That is Aylward. As here's Duback. Watching. Pitch in. Swing and a miss.
And I mean, we mentioned how that's going to affect the pitcher there in Saylor, but how does it also affect Dubak? I mean, he was in his zone, getting into that one, and all of a sudden he has to step aside for maybe 90 seconds to hold off.
Ball was over towards the other batter's box, so that will be a ball. 3-1 is the count.
And for Dubak here, I don't expect Coach Drum to say he gets too aggressive here, unless if it's a pitch he likes.
Well, he swings and misses. Must have liked that one. However, a bit too early as we now go full. Elmira has 4 hits on the day, only 1 run to show, but also 3 errors. Here they go. That ball is up for a walk.
So it's back in the situation again where the Pioneers have 2 on and with no outs, and they have to try and score a run, and that's where it comes time for Michael Gardner. I mentioned the 4 home runs the Pioneers have hit all season, and I continue to mention when I talk about Michael Gardner is that you can't underestimate how powerful his bat is. He had that first home run, and the ball that he hit over towards left field was an absolute moonshot.
You said it right there. It's now, can Gardner get 1 home? You may have the power, but can you get it down is the thing. Looking around, looking for the bunt, and that one's going to hit down the middle, gets it over and around, does not throw it.
I mean, you talk about the power of Michael Gardner. The power was shown right there. The ability to hold back on the bunt and place it right in front. He reaches on a single there. It's going to be a bases-loaded situation now, and Ryan Kristoff's coming to the plate.
Feels like that one scene in Major League where the guy bunts to win the game. How will this affect them as going to the mound now to talk to Saylor?
Does not seem like it's going to be a pitching change at all. There was nobody warming up over there. I mean, this has just been a strange inning for both sides. I mean, you get the bunt down there from Michael Gardner that gets onto first. You don't normally see that. Then you had the man running across the field, which he's lucky he got out here before getting arrested. He's probably getting arrested behind center field. He wasn't even running after the fact. So now you get the mound visit. It threw off Saylor's timing because he had to wait a little bit before he could throw his next pitch. What a game so far, and the Pioneers now have a golden opportunity to score with the man just 90 feet away, the tying run, and the leading run of Brandon Dubak currently occupying second.
Kristoff, on his last at-bat, got a single. Can he get another single to bring 1, maybe 2 runs home, depending on where that ball lands? Elmira needs 1 to tie here in the bottom of the 4th. Ball is up high for ball 1.
And the fans are getting behind this, and that's what Dunfield is so great at. They have such a high attendance because everyone wants to see the Pioneers. It allows these batters to get behind them and use it to their advantage.
Some of them want to see the Pioneers too much and start running on the field. However, that ball is hit foul. So 1-1.
We don't condone those actions, but there are some diehard fans of the Pioneers that come to these games and just love watching their baseball team. I mean, in left field, we see a sign there for Herb, who was a veteran and loved the Pioneers.
As here we wait for the pitch. And it's fouled away off of the catcher mask. Just making sure that Griggs is okay.
And so with a force at any base, you expect on this one, with the third baseman playing in there and Chase Moore, it's going to be an attack home situation where if a ball is on the ground by Kristoff, you immediately throw home, then you try and throw to first, get those 2 outs quickly.
At home is where you want to be. As now Kristoff gets ready. He hits that one foul. However, it's in range and caught by the first baseman, Michelson.
Michelson gets that one. He was running towards the box seats, so the people in the box seats almost had an opportunity to get a foul ball in that one, but unfortunately, Michelson just able to get underneath that one. And that's now as you can tell, these players are playing closer infield. The third baseman, Chase Moore, is playing on the grass. Michelson is currently occupying towards first on the grass. So you got 2 in, you got 2 back in case of anything hit in the middle, and Caleb Delaney is the guy to kind of do that.
Like we mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, Delaney has been hot from that 10 spot. Did try for first. At one point goes far out to the outfield, straight to center. However, that won't be enough. Elmira gets one home, as well as moving Gardner to second and Dow Duber to third.
And Doobie moved all his way over to third, Duback. And how often can you say that the wheels of Jack Aylward score the Pioneers a run, but it does there. Now it's 2-2.
This is what the Pioneers want. It's a clean slate now. However, you still have 2 men on base, which is ecstatic as we go to the top. Strike number 1 on Tyler Adamo.
And Adamo, this is the sort of situation that he lives for. He has before gotten a 6 RBI game. That was against Niagara, trying to replicate that.
That ball was hit up and away. Foul, not able to catch it, unlike with Kriskoff. And now it will be an 0-2 count.
As still no arms warming up in that bullpen for Auburn.
Adamo looking, and here's the pitch by Saylor. Swing and a miss, maybe a foul tip. However, he will sit down as well as the Pioneers. However, they do score 1. We go into the top of the 5th, 2-2 here at the legendary Dunn Field.
The Elmira Pioneers are sponsored by AIM Independent Living, AJ's Outdoor Power Equipment, Ann's Pancakes, Centralis Health, Blaze Brockway, Bully Hill Vineyards, CAF USA, Casa Trinity Prevention, Chemung Canal Trust Company, Chemung Supply, Coca-Cola, Council Rock Wealth Advisory Group, Dandy Mini Marts, Elm Chevrolet, Elmira Heat Treating, Chemung County Family Fitness Center, Finger Lakes Federal Credit Union, FM Howell, Glove House, Guthrie, Hilliard Corporation, Honeybee Made, Jubilee Foods, Kahuna's, Kennedy Valve, M&T Bank, Martha Lloyd Community Services, McDonald's, Papa John's, Pathways, Pinecroft, Rodney J. Strange, ServPro, Serve You Credit Union, Sheddens, Solutions Credit Union, Southern Tier Custom Fabricators, Susan Minchin Dentistry, Swan Morse Insurance, Texas Roadhouse, Tom South Corning Collision, the United States Army, the United States Navy, Vasco Brands, Wegmans, Wise Markets, Well Now Urgent Care, WETM, Wiggle 100, and Woodbrook Assisted Living. Thank you for sponsoring the Elmira Pioneers, and go Pios.
We come back from a very interesting bottom of the 4th. However, Elmira did tie it up as it is 2-2 between them and the Auburn Doubledays. Elmira leads with 5 hits over Auburn's 4, but they do have 3 errors to their name. It will stay on the mound here as the lights start shining. We begin with Massey.
It's actually going to be a correction on that. Jaden Madrid is stepping up as the substitute hitter on this one, and you kind of don't expect that to see that in just the 5th inning. But, you know, interesting way to do things if you are Auburn, especially considering right now you're down in hits. It's something that they're not normally used to.
Well, Madrid will need to figure out what's going on with Ale. 0-1's the count. Pitch, that's hit straight to short, and it's a bobble by Gardner into the outfield. Once again, an error for the Pioneers.
That was just a done field bounce that got on top of Award and on Gardner, and that's what I'm said at the beginning of the broadcast was just the difference in surfaces between the turf of Auburn and the dirt of Elmira. It changes how that ball gets played, and it leads to those sorts of situations.
Hill will pitch now over and up for Hutchins, and that one will drop. Gonna go for 2. A little bit of a bobble out in center. Going around for 3. Is Auburn.
Just the bobble in center field and right center there by Brett Baker, and that's what ends up causing the play to be scored there as a triple. Just not normally you see a lot of triples here at Dunn Field, but right there, the big swing of Hutchins, and it allows for Auburn to take this lead once again.
Triple, one of the toughest things to hit in baseball, depending on where you are, that is. But now a man on third. It is 3-2.
Infield shifts in case of anything low and on the ground.
And that ball is down. So Monahan doesn't pull up the bunt sign.
But Monahan's just not one of those guys that I would expect them to try and bunt with. I mean, he's got the power. He can hit one over the wall. Why try and waste that when you have an opportunity? Even a fly ball into the outfield would allow an opportunity because it would give the chance of a sacrifice fly.
That ball was in the dirt. It's going to be 2-0. Now it feels like Hale's running out of steam. And this is not a spot you want to be in during that. Once again, in the ground, a little bit of a release issue.
I mean, Hale's been doing so well today in terms of when he's got man on and how to attack it. So it's just a difficulty right now where sometimes his fielders are just not able to get their glove on the baseball. But once again, I'm not going to take anything away from Lucas Hale. He's done such a great job through those first innings to get those outs.
Here's the pitch. In there for strike 1.
So it's kind of the opposite of what we saw against Auburn before, where Auburn was just putting on runs. Hale's been able to limit them. He's going to somewhat exit this day with, if he exits anytime soon, with
swing and a miss for strike 2.
With very few earned runs.
And it looks like on the board they added an error.
So what they probably say on Hutchins was that it was a double extended to a triple, or a single extended to a triple on the error.
Be an E8 as that ball gets in the middle between left and center. 1 run comes home, and that is going to be a double for Mr. Monahan. That 425 average really showing off. And it is now 4-2 Auburn.
And Monahan, like I mentioned, they were playing in on him in case he did something low. But with Monahan, he's going to swing the bat no matter what. He hits it in the outfield. He gets the run scored. And now all of a sudden, it's a 4-2 lead for Auburn.
Moore's in now. Watches ball 1. A little too close to him. Chase Moore 3-0-4 at third base today. He sees one of his men, being Monahan, at second. Moore watches down in the dirt for the second ball.
Should be noted there is a right-hander warming up right now for the Pioneers. Of course, I always say that there's a right-hander warming, but the Pioneers are very limited on left-handed pitchers. So I'll get you a little bit more accurate of a reading in a second here, but I have to see how much longer the day will last for Hale, considering there's still no outs here. But, I mean, I said it before, Hale's had such a great day today that a 2-run 5th inning is just a little upsetting considering how well he's been pitching.
2-0 as Moore comes back from taking a slight timeout. Hale looking back at second, but he's going to pitch. That one is in there for strike one.
And that's the kind of strike that Hale just needs to reset because it's not a 3-0 count, so you still have a little bit of leeway in terms of getting those balls. But with Monahan on second base, it becomes a little bit more difficult for this one.
Moore looking. He's going to swing, and that one's going to be in the middle between first and second. 1 run coming home. Monahan scores easily. 3 runs this inning. It is 5-2 Auburn with Moore's RBI single.
And the outcomes now is going to be Coach Burkhan. And it seems like that is going to be the end of the day for Lucas Hale. As what a day it was for him. It's 5-2 now Auburn. But once again, as I said before, Hale had such a strong performance in this one that it's hard to really say that there was something that he necessarily did wrong, but we'll have to see how the rest of this game comes out. He will once again not be in line for a victory, as coming out is going to be Landon Birch, and we'll talk about him a little bit more when we come back from this break here on the Pioneers Broadcasting Network. The Elmira Pioneers are sponsored by AIM Independent Living, AJ's Outdoor Power Equipment, Ann's Pancakes, Centralis Health, Blaze Brockway, Bully Hill Vineyards, CAF USA, Casa Trinity Prevention, Chemung Canal Trust Company, Chemung Supply, Coca-Cola, Council Rock Wealth Advisory Group, Dandy Mini Marts, Elm Chevrolet, Elmira Heat Treating, Chemung County Family Fitness Center, Finger Lakes Federal Credit Union, FM Howell, Glove House, Guthrie, Hilliard Corporation, Honeybee Made, Jubilee Foods, Kahuna's, Kennedy Valve, M&T Bank, Martha Lloyd Community Services, McDonald's, Papa John's, Pathways, Pinecroft, Rodney J. Strange, ServPro, Serve You Credit Union, Sheddens, Solutions Credit Union, Southern Tier Custom Fabricators, Susan Minchin Dentistry, Swan Morse Insurance, Texas Roadhouse, Tom South Corning Collision, the United States Army, the United States Navy, Vasco Brands, Wegmans, Wise Markets, Well Now Urgent Care, WETM, Wiggle 100, and Woodbrook Assisted Living. Thank you for sponsoring the Elmira Pioneers, and go Pios.
Landon Birch now on the mound after Lucas Hale's outing as Elmira is down 5-2 to Auburn. Auburn Doubledays got the upper hand in the beginning of the 5th. No outs so far and a man on first.
Have to see how Landon Birch pitches in this outing. I mean, we spoke about it before, but Birch, he was in that game against Geneva. He was the starting pitcher. He was leading the league in ERA of a .53. Then 20 pitches in, he got ejected from the game.
And we watch Brandon Smith will look at it for nothing. It will be a ball.
But so it's always interesting to just how you see this pitcher come out in relief following not being starting. I mean, we saw Larson Birch come in relief on opening day.
And that's strike one.
So his older brother Landon now going to be doing that of his own. But, I mean, as I was saying before, Lucas Hale, a great outing. It's just those 5 errors that really ended up costing him.
And Birch goes back to first, trying to stop any chance of a steal. Does not get the runner.
And the correction that I did want to make was that play that ended up scoring the run was a double that was extended to extended by an error in the outfield.
And that ball's hit up high onto the press box, so it will be foul.
And I hear the other members of the press box running back out there. I mean, even the scorekeeper, he hadn't put the strike on the board till he went and go grab the baseball. So a 1-2 count now incoming, and thankfully that one didn't come near us because not too much equipment here to be risking.
As well as our heads. Landon Birch, 1-2 count. Could he get the first out of the fifth? And that one's hit, but it's going to be foul. Bounced off of Smith.
Just a tough one there. A grounder and that hits off of you. I wouldn't want to be the batter in that situation because when that comes back at you, especially of how hard Auburn's hitting these off the bat, would not feel good in the slightest.
Smith has yet to get on base today. He flew out and grounded out in his last 2 plate appearances. Watches this pitch. It will be a ball. Just a little too high and away from Smith.
And so Birch is the first batter since coming out of the pen. You have to see how he adjusts with the 2-2. The Middle Tennessee State guy has to just kind of work this one.
As he almost hits the batter. It will be a full count now. And Birch just trying to get settled in after his little interaction back in Geneva, was it?
Yes, it was back in Geneva. It was a hit by pitch that Birch thought was a swing. Of course, that's in the past now. Birch just has to focus on this one with a full count.
So he goes over to first to try and get more. If he was trying to steal, nothing going. Will remain 3-2 with no outs.
I like that throw over considering it's a 3-2. Oftentimes the guys are going to run no matter what on this pitch. So getting more there in caution mode.
And here's the ball. It goes way in the dirt for ball 4. Another base runner for Auburn. As Moore goes to second, Smith to first.
Just a tough one there for the sides, and there's not much that you can do there.
Griggs will return. He got on an error last time. Can he get a hit this one? As looking at second is Birch. He's at second and pitches. That one is in there for strike one. Just the middle of the plate. Not the middle of the plate, but right in there.
The inner corner. Just a great spot for Birch to hit, especially against a righty batter. It causes a situation where if Griggs tries to swing, he'll probably get jammed, and time is called there. Griggs held the bat up a little bit. I think he just might have gotten a little bit ahead of himself. He returns back into the box for this one.
Here's Birch. Looking and firing. That one in the dirt. Bit of control issues in this inning for the Pioneers. They've been a little disturbed since last inning. Here's Griggs. Neither catcher has gotten on base with a hit today. Both on errors. As that one will get through. There's the hit I was mentioning. Gonna go home is Moore. And going to second. Safe. So a run scores as Moore hits home. Brendan Smith gets to third. And that's going to be Griggs to second. The lead is now 6-2.
And now it's going to be a tough spot for the Pioneers with their bats. I mean, I've mentioned it so many times in this broadcast even so far. When Auburn can get their bats swinging, they normally just remain hot no matter what it is they're looking for. So it's going to be a switch there, and we'll get an official scorer's opinion on terms of if that was a single or a double very shortly here.
And now we're back, and here is the pitch. It's going to be number 22. That's Michelson, the first baseman. It will be a single for Griggs.
They say he advanced on the throw, and so the ball will go back up there to Birch. But Auburn's just been putting bat on ball this entire inning, and that's just a difficulty for the Pioneers.
Still missing the first out of the top of the fifth. 6 runs, 8 hits for Auburn. With that man on second and third. On second is Griggs. On third is Brendan Smith. Chase Moore was able to get home on that last at-bat by Griggs. Pitch by Birch. Really fast. However, not there. So there will be a mound visit.
So the two-seamer there from Birch just caught Duback a little off guard, and that's what they're going to just kind of discuss a little bit more about how to attack the batter here. Just a little bit of difficulty between the two sides getting on this one, but for the Pioneers, once again, the focus is just to get that first out, and no matter how you do it, whether it's a ground out, whether it's a strikeout, whether it's a fly out, whether, who knows, it's a runner, base runner interference, you just need that first out.
One out could start the end of this inning, or the top of the inning, if they can keep it together, as that one's far away for ball 2.
So Birch has to reassert himself into that strike zone and has to reassert himself as a fierceful fastball that could get him. I mean, you see how his father, Matt, was back in the day when he was drafted by the Red Sox. That's what he's learning from.
Birch is able to get in there. It will be 2-2 now. One pitch away from a strikeout, his first strikeout of the game. Looking. And he's going to go. Ball a little bit too far out. 3-2.
That was very close. Brandon Duback does a great job of trying to frame that one up, but now it's a full count. And any 50-50 pitch, you expect the batter to start swinging.
And Birch, once again, going through his motions, looking around. Here comes a pitch. That ball is going to be up in the middle, and it hits off of Adamo. Gets his glove off, brings it in.
That was just a very hard ball to play, and I have to give it to Adamo for trying to get in front of that one. But just the hop there and the fast speed off the bat, it may score another run, so it makes it 7-2 in favor of Auburn, but just a tough play there.
It actually brings, it's going to be 7-2. Auburn.
Or excuse me, 8-2. There was 2 men on.
8-2 Auburn. With no outs still, as Michelson is on first, and up to bat is Maxim.
Such a difficult spot now for the Pioneers, being down by
swing and a miss.
Down by 6. You have a lot of faith there in Birch, and there's not been much that you've kind of been sort of thrown away from, because the lone hit that he's let up now was a hard hit one at that.
That one's going to be in there for strike 3. It's a strikeout swinging. The first out of the inning. We've been through almost, actually it's been 8 batters so far. 6 runs through. And Birch getting himself ready. He's now put into there. Is up to bat now is Ryan Petagrasso.
Yeah, and Petagrasso is a great guy to sub in here and see how he can do. Ryan Petagrasso is just that righty that can get his little bit of bat on the ball, move it move the bases around, and with an opportunity with a man on first, that's just kind of what Auburn needs to do here. Try and extend their lead, trying to move things forward here.
There's Pedigrasso. He's going to hit the first one he sees. It's going to be a pop fly up in the air and caught by Gardner for the second out.
So I say all those nice things about Pedigrasso, and he kind of checks on me immediately, but I still stand by that with Pedigrasso, that he is able to kind of bounce around. It's going to be another pinch hitter. So we've already seen 3 pinch hitters now come in for the Auburn Doubledays. He continues to talk. We'll get a number in a second here about who we're looking at, because now it's going to be a brand new batter coming up for their side. It's a man wearing the big old number 39 on his back, and have to see where that ends up going. It looks like it's Tristan Roca.
So Tristan Roca, number 39, will come in. 2 outs, man on first.
And for Roca, he's coming right out of the dugout, and he has just a perfect opportunity here, being a new guy to look at.
So he'll watch ball 1. Birch has seemed to settle in. As that's in there, it won't get there. Ball 2. Dubek was watching for a steal. Nothing showing. And it'll stay at first.
And now for Birch, it's just kind of, you got to work with what you got. With the new batters, it kind of changes up how you may attack, especially out of the pen.
And that's hit into left field. Caught by Tubman. And that ends the top of the 5th. However, Auburn takes the lead 8-2 with 9 hits in the ball game. We'll see you momentarily for the bottom of the 5th. After a rough top of the 5th, how will Elmira respond? Brett Baker up to bat now. He got on with a walk in the first inning. He went all the way around, flew out the last time. Here's pitch number 1, and it's inside for ball 1.
And just taking a peek around the games happening right now in the West Division for the PGCBL, Geneva currently leads over Niagara. They're leading 7-0 in the top of the 7th. As
ball goes high up.
As well, Olean, they currently have the lead over Niagara Falls. It's 6-5 there in Niagara Falls. So, a little bit of change could end up happening in the standings, but not too much. Seems to be the way.
Be 2-0 count now. That one's hit up the gap and through the first base. That's going to be a single for Brett Baker. That's how you begin the inning.
The Dunfield hop giveth, and the Dunfield hop taketh away. And for the man over there at first base in Michelson, that's what ends up happening. He stretches out for that one and is not able to grab it. And you see Jack Tubman now step up. Still up here, and he could try and get something moving. I mean, he's got a single already, and Brett Baker is a speedy guy.
Tubman, fielder's choice, last time out, got a single. Here he watches, and that one's going to be hit. Another blooper to right field. Another single for the Tubman. As Baker gets to second, Elmira in perfect position for a scoring opportunity.
I want to make a note real quick. Maxim over in right field, absolute cannon of an arm. Having to jump in front of that one was Madrid to make the stop, because he was thrown over to third, and he would have just beamed Baker out if Baker ended up running. So good job holding up there by Brett Baker.
And now up to bat is Tidal. He'll watch, swings, and misses.
So that was a good look there to try and start things off by Tidwell. I mean, he's going to be attacking this pitcher, Saylor, hard because he's continuing to go here. There is a right-hander warming up for Auburn, so I have to see how that changes things up.
0-1 count, and that's going to hit foul for 0-2. Good for the Pioneers to get some bases. To have some runners on base. Felt like they were only working on walks, even though they have 7 hits. And how can they respond to all of this? This pitch, just a little bit out for ball 1.
And Jalen Tidwell, good job there. I mean, he started this at bat aggressive, and being able to hold off in an 0-2 count, that's crucial for how he's going to battle against Saylor.
Well, looking. And going to hit that one. That's going to be a bloop, and it's going to get in there. Unfortunately, right to short to Massey. So it will be an out at third. Fielder's choice on that one.
Correction on that one. Jaden Madrid, he did come in for Massey. But
Pardon me.
That was just a bloop one that Brett Baker thought that it was going to be caught, so he moved back towards second. Unfortunately, not enough pop on that one. It drops early, and that's what causes the force out at third. So Tidwell does get on by the fielder's choice, but it does result in an out.
So still 2 men on, as that is strike number 1.
That was a big swing there by Alex Davis that he just not able to get on top of.
Alex Davis got a sac fly earlier. Or, pardon me, it was a fielder's choice for a run. However, after that was a pop out to the outfield. 1-1. The count now, 1 out. Elmira needing some runs. That one is in there for strike 2. Bit down. Now in the hole.
And for Davis, it's just going to be like what happened with Tidwell. Wait till your pitch. I mean, sure, you have 2 strikes, and the 50-50 pitches are going to be important, but get something good there.
That one looks like it was checked, swinged, but it will be foul. Had a lot of air to it.
And what was a great job there by Tubman and Tidwell was when the ball was hit and they thought that it was going to bloop, Tidwell was already on his way towards third base when the ball fell. So if that one did fall into right field, you could potentially have seen Coach Drum get aggressive, send Tidwell from third, Tubman comes home, try and get that run and cut this down to a 4-run deficit.
And now they were still looking at the runners. That ball was up for another ball. Count now 2-2 here at the legendary Dunn Field. And here comes the next pitch. That one is high up. Will he get to it? He will.
Monahan just a great job getting underneath that one. It does allow for the tag up there by Tubman, but, I mean, when you get a center hit, it's always very difficult because of just how far center field extends back. Monahan being able to run back for that one. I mean, I've talked so much about how great Monahan is as a batter. He's maybe even better as a fielder. He had that diving catch in the game when they were at Auburn, and now he's getting that one back there. So have to see how the Pioneers adjust, especially with Jack Aylward coming up.
And here is Aylward. Had a single his last time up, back in the fourth. What can he do here with runners on the corners? Here's a pitch. Watches it as that is going to be a ball just a little bit out. Good call there in favor for Davis.
For Aylward, I mean, he's there at the plate, and I would expect Tidwell to start running very shortly here. Try to get a double steal attempt in.
My apologies, Davis. Sorry, Aylward. As Aylward is now at a 1-1 count. Just getting his gloves together.
As you hear in the background, the Thunder Sticks started bouncing back and forth by the fans to give the Pioneers some momentum.
Aylward looks away, 2-1.
And I guess you have to get some props to Griggs for that. Reaching the glove out there. Make sure if it gets past him, Tubman is definitely getting on his horse and running. So, big stop there from him to hold off a run.
The backstop here is very far back, as there's ball 3.
That's something that's different between Auburn and Elmira in terms of the field outside of just the turf. The backstop for the Doubledays is a lot shorter. The backstop for the Pioneers is much larger.
That ball was hit foul back to to make it a full count.
And Jack Aylward is upset about that swing because he knew that that one was up high and could have been ball 4 to get him on. So you saw him kind of shake the fist after the fact. Have to see now how he attacks with a full count.
Now looking to the right. Runner on first is going to run for it. A little bit of a twist. Goes around, and that's going to be ball 4. Aylward with a walk.
And I have to say on that one, even if it wasn't a full count, that was a long windup there by Saylor when he was going up there. So if Tidwell stealed, even if that was, let's say, a 2-2 count, he probably makes it to second base easily.
Duback now up. He walked the last time. He only got to third, almost made it home. Not enough. Here's a pitch, and he hits that one into the gap. There's going to be 1 run. And the ball is a little tipped. 2-run score for Elmira. Smith had a little bit of a trouble out there in left field, and the Pioneers take advantage.
And that's just what Brandon Duback can do so well. He knows those tight situations. He gets his ball on bat. He sends it in the outfield, and it causes the outfield to just have a little bit of a struggle. And it gives the opportunity now for the Pioneers to continue to work as Michael Gardner waits on with the mound visit. The difficulty, I guess, comes from now who's on base because unless if it's a pass ball, you aren't probably expecting either of them to really steal. Sure, Duback can do that, but he's got Aylward in front of him.
Gardner going to be up now. The lead has been cut to 4 with 8 hits for Elmira and 2 runners. A man on first and a man on second. Gardner could make it a 1-run game. How will he respond? 2 outs, of course. And the ball was way over into the opposing batter's box. it will be 1-0.
And it seems as though they're starting to get into the heads of Saylor, and this is where...
And that's going to be a strike. Tried to check his swing, but that didn't matter.
What I was saying was this might be the time where you kind of check if Gardner's able to get on here. How much longer is Saylor going to go in terms of, is that going to be the end of his day? You never know here in the PGCBL, though.
There's 1-1, and that ball is hit. And it's going to be third to first. Moore to Michelson. That ends the inning. Elmira does score 2, though. Auburn still leads 8-4 here on Pioneers Broadcasting Network.
The Elmira Pioneers are sponsored by AIM Independent Living, AJ's Outdoor Power Equipment, Ann's Pancakes, Centralis Health, Blaze Brockway, Bully Hill Vineyards, CAF USA, Casa Trinity Prevention, Chemung Canal Trust Company, Chemung Supply, Coca-Cola, Council Rock Wealth Advisory Group, Dandy Mini Marts, Elm Chevrolet, Elmira Heat Treating, Chemung County Family Fitness Center, Finger Lakes Federal Credit Union, FM Howell, Glove House, Guthrie, Hilliard Corporation, Honeybee Made, Jubilee Foods, Kahuna's, Kennedy Valve, M&T Bank, Martha Lloyd Community Services, McDonald's, Papa John's, Pathways, Pinecroft, Rodney J. Strange, Serve Pro, Serve You Credit Union, Sheddens, Solutions Credit Union, Southern Tier Custom Fabricators, Susan Minchin Dentistry, Swan Morse Insurance, Texas Roadhouse, Tom South Corning Collision, the United States Army, the United States Navy, Vasco Brands, Wegmans, Wise Markets, Well Now Urgent Care, WETM, Wiggle 100, and Woodbrook Assisted Living. Thank you for sponsoring the Elmira Pioneers, and go Pios.
Top of the 6th here now. Birch back on the mound. It was a rough 5th inning for the Pioneers, at least the top of it, with 6 runs scored between Hale and Birch. However, for them in the bottom of the 5th, they were able to get 2 runs. So, how will Auburn, will they keep the momentum, or will they change it? So, James, but I'm just having some issues.
You're a little tongue-tied today.
Yeah. I'm Ryan Labonte. I'm here with Anthony Labonte. There's pitch number 1 for the top of the 6th, and that will be in there for strike 1.
Always nice to have a special guest play-by-play guy for some of these innings here through this 40-game season.
Second pitch is not going to be in there for a strike, just a little bit too high. 1-1 is the count. Birch came in after a little bit of issue. He was able to get the 3 outs necessary. There's a foul right there to the right, but not imply 1-2.
And for Madrid, I mean, he started it off by coming on and getting an E6, so have to see how things change for him.
As that ball's down in the dirt, 2-2. The E6, he did get home, however. Part of one of those 6 runs that kept Auburn in front. Getting the pitch call. Here he goes. That ball is also hit foul. So the at-bat will stay alive.
And now you have to wonder what the catcher in Duback is going to try and signal up to his arm. I mean, you maybe see that 2-seamer come in, but have to wonder if they switch to a breaking ball to get the 3rd strike.
Pitch, and that ball was hit straight to third base. That's to Davis, over to first to Kriskoff, and that is out numero uno.
Big throw there from Davis. It's always hard when you're on that corner to make the full foot throw over, because that's one of the furthest throws on the baseball field from third to first, and being able to knock that one down is always crucial.
As the ump does one of the best jobs, cleaning up home plate. And batter number 2 now, it's going to be Hutchins. Hutchins looks, that ball is up, foul, out of the stadium.
Seen a couple of those go well on over into the street area, St. Louis Street, as the balls get distributed back over there. So, I mean, a lot of power in some of the bats for both sides, and it's very much translated into how this game's been played. It's been kind of those big swings that have scored runs rather than really any sort of small ball that you normally see.
Hutchins swings, fouled away. Says something explicit, trying to get back into his head. He's only gotten on base on an error, an error in the last inning. Flew out.
It was the double that he extended, so it was going to be ruled ahead.
And that ball is foul tipped into the glove. Strikeout for Mr. Birch.
And Landon now is getting into his rhythm, getting those 2 big outs, including his second punch out of the day.
Here's Monahan. Double last time. What can he do this time? Nobody on, 2 outs. Watches strike 1.
He sees that one go by. I mean, he almost had the swing on there, so it would have been a strike nonetheless.
Here's pitch number 2. Almost hits him. What a difference in pitches right there. It is 1-1. But what a difference in innings, as it's been quick for the Pioneers in the top. That's a swing for strike 2.
And now a 1-2 count incoming for Monahan, and you have to see how he ends up going. I mean, with 1 ball, you understand that Birch can get around, but have to see.
Pitch, that one's fouled away. So he stays alive for another at-bat. Monahan, who came into the game for 25 average.
I mean, one of the best bats so far in the PGCBL. They hold off for a second as they grab a foul ball behind him, but one of the best bats in the PGCBL, and it's a mixture of contact and power that just makes him so strong.
Swing and a miss. Strikeout again for this inning. Birch gets 2 to end it. We go to the bottom of the 6th. 8-4 Auburn. Ryan Kristoff will begin here in the bottom of the 6th. Ryan Labonte here with Anthony Labonte on Pioneers Broadcast Network as Kristoff gets ready for the pitch. Looking, firing. That ball was tipped away for strike numero uno.
And that's just kind of how you start your at-bat. I mean, the Pioneers are now going to attack so aggressively. Coach Strum is just, once again, I always mention how he's a hitting coach, and that's what he kind of says. If you can attack that first pitch strike, go ahead and do it.
There's that one. It's going to be down for ball 1.
And it's interesting how Saylor is still in this one. I mean, he has had a strong day today. Only 4 runs have scored. All 4 will be earned against Saylor. But, you know, in a game like this where it seems all of a sudden that
hits. Yump. Checking on him. Still going to remain 1-2.
What I was saying was, as he waves off the athletic trainer, was that it's something where even where the Pioneers in that last half inning were starting to get on top of Saylor, it's interesting that they keep him on the mound for this one, especially considering Birch came in, and Birch is, once he starts developing through the innings, he seems to get better and better and better.
Yeah. Here is Kristoff looking for the hit here, or the hit in play, actually. Watching. Here's the pitch. That one's hit straight to third underneath the glove of Moore. A single, or possibly an error for Kristoff, as we'll just say he's on base.
They do rule it an E5. Moore was running behind him, trying to reach the glove down. Tough play to make either way, but right there, I mean, it's just not going to be enough. They're going to rule it as an error, but it still puts a man on, and for the Pioneers, getting men on is all that you need.
Once again, Pioneers are down 8-4 here in the bottom of the 6th, as Delaney is up to bat. A very hot hitter right now as he watches ball 1.
And for Delaney, kind of what he needs here is to just kind of put something into play that maybe could bounce or drive through, and that may be you try to go opposite field for him.
That pitch is hit up high in the air for Moore, and he will get it for out numero uno.
We keep going back to that in Spanish here. I mean,
what should I do? Don toi? Start with French?
I mean, we do have a French last name, but we're not playing the Pioneers are not playing against the Niagara Ironbacks right now, so it probably would alienate a little bit of the audience.
Yep. Here's Adamo up to bat. Last time he struck out, and this one he hits a grounder foul.
That one just knocked off the plate. They're going to call that one a foul no matter what. And for Adamo, I mean, you sit in that leadoff spot. You got a man on, and it's a man over there in Kristoff. You just kind of have to try and advance him because Brett Baker's been having such a strong day today that if you can let Baker get to the plate with 2 men on, all of a sudden this game could become even closer.
Watching first. And here's the pitch. That ball was also hit. Foul, this time the opposite direction.
Should be noted that that error on Moore is the first error committed by Auburn all day today. So they are not in an impenetrable wall in terms of defense. So have to see if the Pioneers can try and battle back on that.
Trying to get him at first. Kristoff goes back. No out there.
And Ryan Kristoff is just doing a great job here of not extending his lead too much.
Adamo brings it over, but that's going to be double play magic. No. So Madrid gets it. at second.
The problem was that in that situation, you're supposed to have the man on second base try and move himself over and make that sort of play. But right here, it doesn't seem as though it's going to work because Hutchins tries to move over and it doesn't come in time. It's too fast of a domino, and that's what you get from a leadoff guy.
Only 2 outs now. Man on first.
And this is what the Pioneers want. Is Brett Baker up at bat. He's been doing so well today so far.
Had a single the last time out. This one is way over for ball 1.
Once again, 2 outs now, and enter into the bottom half of the 6th. I mean, the innings become so much quicker come down here because you only got so many limited opportunities left. That's what the top of this order has to kind of piece together.
And that one's in there for a strike. Looks like it got the last half of the strike zone here on Baker.
We don't have the best view up here, considering with the lefty batter, you always have the umpire shift towards his right. So, wasn't the best view, but that one looked like it just barely clipped the plate.
Here's our pitch. That ball is hit, and they're going to call it fair. It's going to go down the line in right field. Going for second, and he's out at second. Madrid with the tag. What a play by Maxim.
Maxim just has an arm, and he's able to get it there. The aggressive base running, once again, costing the Pioneers. But, I mean, in a situation when you hit something like that, that's just kind of what you expect. The run to second is just Maxim doing such a great job.
The entirety of this game is going on. As we'll get back to you in a bit.
The Elmira Pioneers are sponsored by AIM Independent Living, AJ's Outdoor Power Equipment, Ann's Pancakes, Centralis Health, Blaze Brockway, Bully Hill Vineyards, CAF USA, Casa Trinity Prevention, Chemung Canal Trust Company, Chemung Supply, Coca-Cola, Council Rock Wealth Advisory Group, Dandy Mini Marts, Elm Chevrolet, Elmira Heat Treating, Chemung County Family Fitness Center, Finger Lakes Federal Credit Union, FM Howell, Glove House, Guthrie, Hilliard Corporation, Honeybee Made, Jubilee Foods, Kahuna's, Kennedy Valve, M&T Bank, Martha Lloyd Community Services, McDonald's, Papa John's, Pathways, Pinecroft, Rodney J. Strange, ServPro, Serve You Credit Union, Sheddens, Solutions Credit Union, Southern Tier Custom Fabricators, Susan Minchin Dentistry, Swan Morse Insurance, Texas Roadhouse, Tom South Corning Collision, the United States. Top of the 7th incoming here from historic Dunfield. Anthony Labonte alongside our guest broadcaster for this one, Ryan Labonte, and Larson Birch remains on the mound for the Pioneers. He's going up against Chase Moore, and so far in the day for Moore, he has an RBI single to his name, as that one is swung on foul for strike number 1.
Moore has been an integral part of this Auburn team, especially with that 5th inning we keep mentioning, but that was a change of pace in this game. Let's see how Birch can take over here.
So 0-1 count coming in now for Moore. The pitch. That one is hit high into the air. That's towards left field. Tracking underneath that one is going to be Jack Tubman. He loses his hat. He flings over, makes the grab, and gets the out. Running grab there from Jack Tubman. Gets the first out of the top of the 7th. Pioneers trying to hold off Auburn from any chance of scoring. Auburn is the 2nd team in the West Division. They're 12-5 on the season. Batavia, the only team above them. They're not playing a West Division game today. They're playing an out-of-league game against the Buffalo Diesel. So we'll have to see where they end up moving. They beat Jamestown yesterday in terms of Batavia. That moved Jamestown down to the 3 spot. Elmira currently sits at 4. Up to bat here is Brendan Smith. He walked his last time up. He's 0 for 2 on the day. 1 out here. The first pitch, that one's outside Dubek makes the snag and throws it back on over to Landon.
There were 5 errors for this Elmira defense, but it feels like for the past couple innings, they've gotten it together and done the best they can.
As that one is going to be offline, it's going to be ball 2 coming in now here against Smith. And for the Pioneers, it's just going to try and get those 1, 2, 3 innings that they hope to have. As that one will go in there for a strike. Will not try to swing on that one is Smith. It's a 2-1 count now incoming. Interesting factor in this one is that the Pioneers and Auburn are tied in hits. It's 9-9 on the day as the 2-1 delivery comes in there, and it'll go inside for ball 3.
That's how bad errors ruin a team. I mean, 9-9, that's fine, but 5 errors allowing for 8 runs compared to 1 error allowing 4, that's unbelievable.
The 3-1 count, the pitch. That one is right down the middle for strike number 2. A 3-2 count now incoming. Landon Birch on the mound, the older brother of Larson, the longtime Pioneer, as 3-2 count. The pitch. That one is swung on and into the mitt for strike number 3. Another punch out comes in for Landon, his 4th strikeout here of the day. And it's 2 outs now in the top half of the 7th.
It feels like Landon Birch has been absolutely lights out ever since he came in. I mean, he had a little bit of struggle at the beginning, but that was just getting settled, making sure everything's okay, and now he's lights out.
2 outs here. That pitch is fouled away there. Coming in up to bat is going to be Griggs, who reached on a single his last time up. He also had that error earlier that got him on. He came in relief of Bentavenga. 0-1 count, the pitch. That one is going to be as middle as you kind of see on the day. Birch is getting into his zone here, and it's 2-strike count now.
Might be one of the quickest innings so far for the Pioneers. Is that one?
That one's on the ground. It's going to be grabbed there by Gardner. He takes a step. He jumps. He throws. Kristoff is going to grab it, but he's going to be off the bag. Trying to make a sort of Derek Jeter-like play over there. Michael Gardner. It was a hard ball anyway. It's going to be another hit coming in for Auburn. A single there by Griggs. It's their 10th hit of the day. And now Brandon Michelson will step up to take this one forward as he's got a man on there for his side. Auburn trying to continue their winning ways against the Elmira Pioneers. On the season, these two squads have faced 3 times before. Auburn has the lead 2-1 as that pitch goes in there for a strike.
That last play was marked as a single, and that is a good call right there because although the throw was pretty good, I do not think it would have made it in time.
That one falls in for a strike, hits the corner. 0-2 count now incoming for Michelson. As I was saying, these two sides, Auburn leads 2-1 on the season series, trying to make it 3-1 if this score were to hold off. 0-2, the pitch. That one is swung on him. It's there for strike number 3. Another punch out comes for Landon Birch as we head into the bottom half of the 7th. Pioneers need to start getting their bat on ball if they want to come back in this one. It's 8-4 Auburn lead here from Elmira, New York. Bottom 7 incoming soon. Griggs comes out there to give the throwdown, and Saylor remains on the mound for the Auburn Doubledays. He's trying to get through 7 innings of work. He's already gone through 6. Not able to get the quote-unquote quality start due to the 4 runs, but it's still been a great day so far from the starting pitcher. Him and Lucas Hale both had excellent days so far, just not in favor of the Pioneers. Upcoming now is going to be Jack Tubman, and on the day so far, he's batting 2 for 3 with 2 singles. His other time up, that was in the first inning where he had a fielder's choice, and he looks to try and start a rally for the Pioneers as they're down to the last 9 outs.
4 may seem very far away, but it is just a grand slam away.
I mean, you don't normally see grand slams unless if you're the Auburn Doubledays, where Teddy Monahan hit one against the Pioneers. First pitch, it was upstairs for ball 1, so the Pios and Jack Tubman trying to get things moving. Saylor's throw, that one, the breaking ball falls in there. That spin on it gets Tubman to watch, and it's going to be a 1-1 count incoming now.
Feels like a way different ball game, or a different day here at Dunn Field, as that one is too far out. A lot cooler air coming in, and no more sun and shadows that could hurt the pitcher or batter.
The 2-1, the pitch, that one is outside. 3-1 now for Jack Tubman, who looks to continue his spots here. He's got a bat that he looks to continue to use. As 3-1, the throw, that one, well too high. It's ball 4. Tubman gets on with a walk.
Elmira has been able to get some walks here today. It's better than all of the strikeouts. They started the first inning with a bunch of walks, as now it looks like Saylor's day will come to an end.
6 walks given by the Pioneers, and that'll do it for Saylor. We'll step aside here from Elmira, New York. The Pioneers have a man on first, but have to come back from a 4-run deficit. Hold on 1 second. It doesn't actually fully seem like Saylor's done. The bench hasn't come out, so maybe a premature thought of an exit. Maybe just to talk to Saylor to see how he's doing, and that's in case what it was. So he won't actually leave here. Saylor will remain on the mound.
Never listen to me.
I haven't done so since I was a child, so we continue on here. 8-4, no outs. Jalen Tidwell now steps up to the plate. Pioneers, as I mentioned, 6 walks on the day. Tidwell has one of those. He's 0 for 2 on the day, a pop fly to second base and a fielder's choice, and then it was a walk that started things all off. So his 4th time at the plate. Saylor looks down towards his catcher and Griggs. He kicks, he deals. That one's hit hard by Tidwell, but it's high into the air. It heads towards shallow left. Going underneath that one and making the grab is Madrid for the out. First out comes in there on a pitch to Jalen Tidwell. So that meeting on the mound, a good meeting at that, allows for Saylor to get back into his rhythm. Like I said, a right-hander on the mound, on the bullpen side for Auburn. As up to bat comes Alex Davis. Here it goes. 1 out on first base is Jack Tubman. The step and deal. That one's hit hard there by Davis, but it's going to go straight to center field. Backing up for that one is Monahan. He makes the snag there for the 2nd out. On the first pitch that he sees, Davis flies one out to center. And now they're down to just 1 more out in this bottom half of the inning, and it's Jack Aylward stepping up to the plate.
Great contact there. Unfortunately, of course, your center field is not going to be a Little League-sized park here, especially at Dunn Field. So it was just a routine pop fly. However, there still is Tubman on first.
A former minor league ballpark here, Dunn Field, as that one's fouled back for the first strike. A former affiliate for the Boston Red Sox, who are in the state of New York, or are playing against a team in the state of New York tonight. and the Yankees. Big rivalry there. Make an argument that one of the rivalries here in the PGCBL is this Auburn and Elmira team. Only rivaled for Elmira by maybe them and Batavia. 0-1, the pitch. Aylward hits that one hard. It heads towards center field. Going for that one and making the snag as his hat flies off is Monahan for the third out. So down go the Pioneers. They're not able to put one on the board, but neither is Auburn. It's 8-4 here as we head into the top half of the 8th inning on the Pioneers Broadcasting Network. The Elmira Pioneers are sponsored by AIM Independent Living, AJ's Outdoor Power Equipment, Ann's Pancakes, Centralis Health, Blaze Brockway, Bully Hill Vineyards, CAF USA, Casa Trinity Prevention, Chemung Canal Trust Company, Chemung Supply, Coca-Cola, Council Rock Wealth Advisory Group, Dandy Mini Marts, Elm Chevrolet, Elmira Heat Treating, Chemung County Family Fitness Center, Finger Lakes Federal Credit Union, FM Howell, Glove House, Guthrie, Hilliard Corporation, Honeybee Made, Jubilee Foods, Kahuna's, Kennedy Valve, M&T Bank, Martha Lloyd Community Services, McDonald's, Papa John's, Pathways, Pinecroft, Rodney J. Strange, ServPro, Serve You Credit Union, Sheddens, Solutions Credit Union, Southern Tier Custom Fabricators, Susan Minchin Dentistry, Swan Morse Insurance, Texas Roadhouse, Tom South Corning Collision, the United States Army, the United States Navy, Vasco Brands, Wegmans, Wise Markets, Well Now Urgent Care, WETM, Wiggle 100, and Woodbrook Assisted Living. Thank you for sponsoring the Elmira Pioneers, and go Pios. Top 8 incoming now as Landon Birch remains on the mound here for the Pioneers as they continue to work. They're down by 4. They are trying to get their 10th win on the season. They're currently just 2 games above 500. Auburn, they're trying to move back into first place. The team in their way, Batavia, is 13-5. Auburn's 12-5 right now. Of course, it's by win percentage, so have to see how things change up. The pitch from Birch, that one goes in there for a strike. I believe right now, and I could be corrected later on, but if Auburn were to win this one, they would still be in second place, in part due to the 6-0 loss that Auburn had to Batavia. That is arguably their worst loss of the season because of a team that hits so hot in terms of Auburn. Dropping a game where they score 0 runs, especially after the game the night before where they only scored 1 run. It really kind of flipped a switch for them in terms of what they need to get done, and they've been able to do so. It's a 2-1 count now incoming. The pitch, that one swung on a miss there by Maxim. It's 2-2.
Birch has been helping his team stop from getting this lead out of hand, or pardon me, this difference.
And that one hits the corner for strike number 3. Birch has another strikeout to his name. He's gotten a grand total of 6 strikeouts in his relief appearance. And now coming up is going to be Petagrasso. Ryan Petagrasso now steps up to take things forward for the opposing side. He lines up there, and Birch has just been such a strong force. That's why it was such a big deal when he was let go in the last game early in just 20 pitches, because of how dominant he can be, as the first pitch there goes for a strike.
Been great showing by Birch here.
That one hits off of him, and that'll put him on. And goes on there, and that was a tough one that ran just a bit inside there, so it causes it. Petagrasso moves over to first base on the hit by pitch. As now coming up to bat is going to be Tristan Roca. And He comes up here. His last time up, he struck out.
Not the only one on this Auburn team to do that.
And Birch launches that pitch, or he throws that pitch, and it goes a little too high and in, and it's ball number 1. So, a 1-0 count coming here. Man on first base. There's one out right now when Birch is looking to continue to deal. He does so with the pitch there. That one goes right back to him. He throws it over to second to Adamo. Adamo grabs it. He flings it on over to first to Kristoff. A 1-4-3 double play, and that gets them out of the top half of the 8th. When we return, it's the bottom half of the 8th, and the Pioneers look to try and score some more runs following Birch's tough outing on the mound. Bottom of the 8th inning upcoming now between these two sides. The Pioneers currently trail 8-4 against the Auburn Doubledays. And it's a new arm on the mound replacing Saylor. It's Rocco. It's going to be Ryan Rocco taking things through. Anthony Labonte alongside Ryan Labonte taking you through the full 9 of this contest. As up to bat comes Brandon Duback. He, so far in the contest, is 2 for 2 with a walk. Both of those hits have been singles. Have to see how he goes here. As getting set here is Rocco, and that pitch goes inside and about for ball number 1.
Rocco has a way different type of pitching rotation. It seems like both of his arms are back, elbows 45 degrees, and then shoots his arm there. I've never seen something like it.
I like to see how you describe the pitching motion, because myself and Evan Baird were describing it before when he was in Auburn, as that one said high towards center field. Going back for that one is Monahan. Looks to try and make the grab, and he does so while he runs for it and hits off the back wall. So it's going to be an out coming in there. As I mentioned, Monahan, a great center fielder on what may have normally been a double out there, if not more, for Duback. That one falls as an out, as Michael Gardner will now step up to the plate to take this one forward here. One out in the bottom half of the 8th inning. The Pioneers are down to their last 5 outs. They have to score 4 runs. Michael Gardner comes up to the plate here. He had a single back in the 4th inning and tries to keep things moving against Ryan Rocco. Once again, a very strong outfield for this squad. As that one swung on a miss there, just a little bit behind it, is Michael Gardner.
I think when Ryan Rocco thinks about how Madrid and even his outfielders are helping him with the fielding, there's not as much of weight on him.
As that one will be a little bit outside for a ball. People in the stands, they had those thunder sticks, and then they realized that when they pop them, it makes a big noise, and that's what they're doing right now. It's a 1-1 count. The pitch, that one's fouled back. 1-2. They're getting a lot of use out of those today, getting a lot of sound on.
Turning from
Side
thunder
man.
sticks to lightning sticks. Actually, no, that doesn't make any sense.
I mean,
Disregard
it still stays thunder in terms of sound. Just a lot louder of a thunder. Trying to get something here, and Gardner will go down and strike. So not able to get Rocco thunderstruck is the Pioneers. It's 2 down now. Pioneers now down to the last 4 outs as Ryan Kristoff now steps up to the plate to take this one through. And for Kristoff, he's working here today, trying to keep things on moving. He got on his last time on an E5. A lone error by this Doubledays team, and that's what's benefited them so much. The pitch from Rocco. Kristoff swings foul on that one.
Looks like that one hit off of the catcher's mask or something. Went all the way around. Unfortunately, not in play, though.
So 1 strike here, 2 outs. Rocco trying to go 1-2-3 in the inning of the Pioneers. Auburn currently 12-5 on the season. They are looking for the 13th win. They would tie Batavia. They would be behind due to the head-to-head record. The pitch, that one outside, ball 1.
These relievers for both teams have been very crucial to their success, and Ryan Rocco could be the one that sends Auburn up to 13-5 and almost there with Batavia.
And so a 1-1 count coming here for Kristoff. He swings on that one. It goes high, and it's going towards foul territory. Rocco, you don't normally see the pitcher grab the ball, but he does so there. Pitchers are athletes too, and he shows it off there. It's going to go into the top of the 9th here. Pioneers need to get something quickly done, as it's 8-4, Auburn lead. The Elmira Pioneers are sponsored by AIM Independent Living, AJ's Outdoor Power Equipment, Ann's Pancakes, Centralis Health, Blaze Brockway, Bully Hill Vineyards, CAF USA, Casa Trinity Prevention, Chemung Canal Trust Company, Chemung Supply, Coca-Cola, Council Rock Wealth Advisory Group, Dandy Mini Marts, Elm Chevrolet, Elmira Heat Treating, Chemung County Family Fitness Center, Finger Lakes Federal Credit Union, FM Howell, Glove House, Guthrie, Hilliard Corporation, Honeybee Made, Jubilee Foods, Kahuna's, Kennedy Valve, M&T Bank, Martha Lloyd Community Services, McDonald's, Papa John's, Pathways, Pinecroft, Rodney J. Strange, ServPro, Serve You Credit Union, Sheddens, Solutions Credit Union, Southern Tier Custom Fabricators, Susan Minchin Dentistry, Swan Morse Insurance, Texas Roadhouse, Tom South Corning Collision, the United States Army, the United States Navy, Vasco Brands, Wegmans, Wise Markets, Well Now Urgent Care, WETM, Wiggle 100, and Woodbrook Assisted Living. Thank you for sponsoring the Elmira Pie. Top 9 incoming. Landon Birch stays on the mound as Jaden Madrid gets ready to go. The home plate umpire takes a second. He
Probably saw a bug or something that almost got in his face.
They're coming right off the shamong, so it's a good spot for some insects. As that's the best part about Dutton Field is just how close you are to the wildlife. As you know, you see some other ballparks and they're just in the middle of a city. So we'll see how this game continues to develop. It's the top of the 9th inning. Pioneers need to score 4 to tie it up, 5 to take the lead, but they don't have an opportunity to do so until they get 3 outs of the Doubledays. 0-1 count coming here for Madrid. Jaden Madrid, who came in as the pinch hitter earlier in the contest for the original shortstop in Massey. As that one's fouled back, second foul ball. It's 0-2 now. Coming against Jaden Madrid.
They've gotten really solid in their ground since that 5th inning. This is another look.
6 runs in that 5th inning. The pitch, that one outside. Ball 1. That 5th inning, they scored 6 runs, and that's when Hale exited the contest and Landon Birch entered in. The right-hander deals, and that one is hit high and foul.
Birch may have had a couple hits. However, it feels like if you're getting out to Landon Birch, you're either looking or swinging.
1-2 count now for Madrid. The pitch by Birch. That one clips the corner for strike number 3. Another punch out for Landon Birch. That's going to be his 7th on the ball game.
Unbelievable play. The ump actually saw it through. Could have looked like the Doubledays batter was kind of leaning into it. However, it will be a strikeout for Birch.
Now up, Titus Hutchins to take things forward. First pitch to him goes for a strike, and I said it before, Birch continues as just a strong late inning pitcher as the 0-1. That one's hit hard, but it heads over towards Kristoff, who makes the snag for the out. So the line out there to Kristoff, and Teddy Monahan is now going to be up to bat. He, so far in this contest, has that double and the single that just continue to work, and he's been a great guy in the outfield.
It's just felt like a different defensive game recently. And, I mean, we have all those errors, 5 errors scoring, but I feel like they haven't been too bad.
First pitch goes there for a strike. Birch once again gets ahead with the strike, and the first pitch strike at that. The second pitch, that one's hit on the ground, right over to Birch. He makes the snag, he flips it over, and he gets the out. Out number 3 comes in there. It's now going to head to the bottom half of the 9th, where the Pioneers have 3 outs to score 4 runs to keep this one alive, or score 5 to take the win and move to double-digit victories on the season. Bottom 9, the final 3 outs the Pioneers have to work with. Caleb Delaney steps up to the plate. Anthony Labonte alongside Ryan Labonte here through this contest. And right now, Elmira, 3 outs to work with. They have just 4 runs on the board. They have 9 hits, but the 5 errors have been a big factor. The pitch, that one is upstairs, ball 1. So Delaney now is going to try to continue to work. On deck is the top of the order in Tyler Adamo, as Ryan Rocco continues to deal. The pitch, that one's hit high, and it looks like it's going to drop, and it will drop in front of the left foul line. It will move Delaney, and he's going to get a double out of that one. So that's how you start things off at the Pioneers with a double.
Nice hit. I mean, a little bloop, and it goes all the way to the left. That goes against the third baseman. Rocco now has a little bit of pressure on him. Not a lot, but Elmira, now's your time. Because here is Adamo.
As Tyler Adamo steps up to the plate, and he, with that walk-up of semi-charmed kind of life, looking to try and break things through. Delaney occupies second base here. No outs for the Pioneers. The first pitch, that one goes in there for a strike by Ryan Rocco. The right-hander allows the double to the left-handed batter in Delaney. Now he's back to the righties of the order, but then it's a lefty up next and going to be in Brett Baker. But that pitch goes for a strike. Rocco's ahead 0-2 against Tyler Adamo. 0-2 count, no outs here at historic Dunn Field. The pitch, that one's outside. 1-2.
Trying to get him a little bit rattled now. I mean, there's been a lot of pitches this at-bat. I mean, more than usual for the Rocco at-bat.
1-2 count. The look back, the look forward, the throw. That one swung on a miss for strike number 3. So the first out comes in for Auburn. It's going to be a punch out of Tyler Adamo. They are just 2 outs away from taking this one over the Elmira Pioneers. Brett Baker now steps up to try and make things moving here. The punch out by Rocco sends him down. Rocco has two punchies today. He looks back over. He looks towards Baker. Baker swings on first pitch. He fouls it back into the netting.
What's good about having a runner on second is that just a single can get him home, depending on how Coach Strum decides. I think you'll go a little bit more conservative now, given the fact that there's 2 outs left. But first, you actually have to get the hit.
I mean, with a guy like Delaney, he may not even leave that opinion up to Coach Strum, as that one's hit towards foul territory. He'll head on top of the dugout of the other side. 0-2 count incoming. Once again, if you can just drop something into the outfield, Delaney will be on his horse moving, so have to see if something happens. Brett Baker, he's got a bat that can keep things moving in the line. 0-2 count for him, though. Righty-lefty matchup. Rocco looks back. He sets. He throws. That one is hit foul again. So 3 pitches have come to Baker. He's fouled them all off. So you can tell when he's really trying to attack this baseball, and maybe this is the spot where you see Rocco try and throw a chase pitch.
It seems like he's been all over the reliever for Auburn. The takedown, absolute pinnacle.
That one swung on a miss there for strike number 3. So 2 punch outs from Rocco here. So the Pioneers are down to their final out.
Rocco just got the upper hand, and at the end, it's 2 outs for Auburn. 1 final chance.
And Jack Tubman steps up to bat. He gets the sign from Coach Strum. It's a timeout. Something's up over there at third base with Moore. No idea what it is there. He's rubbing off his eyes. Have to see. But he'll stay out. No idea what that was, but he gets it. So Tubman gets this sign from Coach Strum. On second base is Caleb Delaney. Pioneers down to their last out. They've got 10 hits on the day, 4 runs. They're down by 4, though. 2 outs. As you see the second baseman try and throw those flies away. The throw, that one's up for ball 1. It's the light that they're attracted to, and that's what they're heading towards. Once again, coming off the Chemung River over there. Here. 1-0 count, 2 outs. The pitch from Rocco. That one falls in for a strike. It's 1-1 now to Jack Tubman. Pioneers trying to keep things alive for them. They're down by 4. Bottom of the 9th here in Elmira, New York. Down to their last out. Rocco gets his sign from Griggs behind the plate. He gets set. The step, the throw. That one is 2 up. It's going to be a ball. Hutchins is playing over there in case he has to make a pickoff attempt.
Almost thought could have gotten in the corner there. However, just a bit too far. Griggs couldn't get it for him.
That one is swung there by Tubman. It goes too far foul. So it will go to a 2-2 count. Pioneers trailing 8-4. If this score were to hold, Auburn jumps to a half game behind Batavia just due to a head-to-head record. The 2-2, the pitch, that one's upstairs. Pioneers are 2 games above 500 right now. Don't want to fall to just 1 game above. Following that loss on Tuesday to Geneva, 10-2. Looking to continue to work. Full count. The payoff pitch from Rocco. That one's hit by Tubman. It heads over to third base and gets past the glove of Moore again. Delaney's going to try and run home from Drum. There's not going to be a throw, so it's now 8-5. Pios trailing still, but they get 1 run there to try and bounce back.
It's giving a little bit of life, not just back to the fans, but to the entire team. 3 runs now make up a difference. Can Elmira do what they've done before and score, score, score?
And the most runs scored in an inning so far by the Pioneers has been 2. That was back in the 5th inning. As a call timeout, Rocco stepped off. Potential chance to see Tubman steal as that one's hit on the ground. And Moore makes a snag on that one to replace the last one. He throws over to first in time for out number 3. That'll be the 3rd out, and Auburn will take the victory over Elmira today. They jump to 13-5 on the season. The Pioneers fall down to 9-8 on the year, and what that leaves is a potential chance for Auburn to take the lead over Batavia, but now the Pioneers have to worry because they're about to hit very close to hitting that 500 mark as we take a peek around the PGCBL and those other games that are happening today between the sides, and it's going to be a 7-3 game. Geneva leads over the Niagara in the top of the 9th right now, so they are in line for victory if they can get it done. Olean defeated Niagara Falls 11-6, so big win there. Batavia obviously playing against the Buffalo Diesel. That's an out-of-league game that will not affect their West Division standings. But the upcoming games for the Pioneers, it's a game against the Buffalo Diesel tomorrow here at Dunn Field. Then on Sunday, it's a doubleheader at Niagara Falls. That could be a crucial game for both sides. Niagara Falls is trying to bounce back into that 5 spot that they were just a couple days ago. Niagara took them over. Newark, they're on Tuesday. They're just a lone game, and for Newark, they have some questions in terms of how they're going to bounce back. They have just 1 win on the season, but they continue to move. And that'll do it here from Dunn Field. Special thank you to our owners, Robbie and Miss Nellie Nichols, alongside our general managers, Mark and Tabitha Witt, and our assistant general manager, Jacob Rose. Our statisticians today were Ethan the Turtle Franklin and Annalise Stencil. Alongside Ryan Labonte, I'm Anthony Labonte, saying so long from Dunn Field. We'll see you tomorrow for that game against the Buffalo Diesel.